Sotheby's did you attend, Mr. Wong? Could it be that crystal cup from the Warring States period? No, no. Crystal is considered a type of stone, right? Even the esteemed Qin Fan remarked that it is not a stone. I was contemplating whether it might be a silk product, perhaps a garment worn by Yang Gui Fei, like a lady's undergarment or a belly band. The folks upstairs must be baffled. How could such delicate silk, after a millennium, now have turned to dust? Wang Xikong, observing the chaotic guesses flooding the screen, couldn't resist sending a teasing comment. Have your brains been caught in the door? What could be non-metallic, non-ferrous, and non-stone, yet fetch a high price at auction? Think carefully. The netizens, in turn, were even more perplexed, unable to fathom what lay within. Wait, I've thought of something. Could it be Oracle Bone script? Oracle Bones, non-metallic, non-ferrous, and non-stone, yet a national treasure. Who among the Chinese does not revere Oracle Bone script? It makes sense, but could Oracle Bone script be worth 500 million? Moreover, the box Mr. Wong had seemed rather exquisite. Would it be too crude for holding Oracle Bones? Suddenly, a user named Little Snow Not Small sent a comment. Could it be the Lantinggi Su? Chapter 433. No amount of money is too much. Wang Yu's gaze sharpened, disregarding the continued speculations from the viewers. He merely murmured, is Little Snow Not Small a girl? Congratulations, you are correct. Within lies the legendary Lantinggi Su, the genuine work of Wang Shiji. I have followed you. After the broadcast, contact me for the transfer. The live chat fell instantly silent. Could it be that this guess was correct? Who could have known it was the Lantinggi Su? Indeed, it is said that the Lantinggi Su was lost to history. Could this possibly be a forgery? Wang Xiao is a person of great stature. How could he acquire a counterfeit? This must be the genuine artifact that emperors of old long to possess. It is entirely my fault. Non-metallic, non-ferrous, and non-stone. I should have surmised it was a piece of calligraphy or painting. What a loss, a sum of 10 million slipping through my fingers. I am filled with regret. Only that user, Little Snow Not Small, remarked, what incredible luck. Thank you, Mr. Wong. I have followed your account without worry. I will contact you after the broadcast. Very well, Wang Yu replied coolly. He no longer paid her any mind. She was merely a fortunate girl. The ambience of the live stream was rather pleasant. Just a little game. 10 million? Trifling sum. How dare you still speak of conspiracies? The hints were so evident. If you failed to deduce it, whom can you blame? Wang Xikong was thoroughly exasperated by the viewers in the live stream. Human nature is indeed multifaceted. As the saying goes, in a vast forest, one can find all kinds of birds. Those who did not guess the contents of the box maliciously speculated that this account was merely a plant orchestrated by Wang Yu for entertainment purposes. Unable to bear it, Qin Fan also sent a comment. A bunch of fools. Do you want me to give each of you 10 million? If one lacks the ability to earn money, so be it. But to also lack intelligence and resort to exhaustive guessing is absurd. Free money slips away, and yet you still place blame elsewhere. Amidst the barrage of criticism from these two young gentlemen, the majority of netizens remained rational. The tumult gradually subsided. At this moment, Wang Yu spoke. It is an honor for you all to grace my live stream. I am sincerely grateful for your support, regardless of your reasons for being here. I will occasionally offer small perks during the stream. However, should anyone dare to speak ill of me, they must not blame me for my lack of mercy. His expression was frigid, his gaze sharp as a blade, emanating an unspoken intimidation that sent chills through the onlookers. The disoriented netizens quickly regained their composure. Wang Yu's various displays on the internet had instilled a sense of trepidation in these ordinary individuals. At this juncture, the majority of those online were adults, seasoned by the trials of life, aware that beneath the surface of this entertainment-driven society, lurking were ferocious beasts. They did not underestimate these privileged youths, let alone Wang Yu, who possessed a mystique that could easily subdue them. Although it was merely a verbal exchange in the digital realm, should Wang Yu be provoked, it was no idle threat that he could trace them back through the internet. A harsh lesson could ensue, and in severe cases, one might not even grasp the manner of their demise. Accountability? That was inconceivable. It was merely a fleeting whim of power. As the discordant voices in the live stream faded, Wang Yu's icy demeanor softened, returning to his usual warmth. He transformed back into the sunny, charming, and striking figure known as Wang Xiao. Subsequently, he lowered his head and slowly opened a sandalwood box before him. As my fans, today you are in for a treat. Allow me to unveil for you a piece that only emperors were privileged to witness in ancient times. The Lantinggi Su. The moment the lid of the box was gently lifted, a tranquil fragrance of ink mingled with the scent of aged paper seemingly permeated the screen, enveloping the live stream. Wang Yu paused momentarily carefully extracting the time-worn Qian paper, which, despite the passage of years, still radiated a soft luster. As it unfurled, the barrage of comments in the live stream halted abruptly for 2 seconds. The characters on the paper flowed like clouds in water, their strokes occasionally rounded like pearls, at times vigorous like swords, with ink varying in intensity, exuding a dynamic quality that revealed its profound essence. In the 9th year of Yonghe, the year of Guizhou, the moment this line caught their eyes, the knowledgeable audience erupted in excitement. The hidden strokes, the fluid motions, the concluding flourish, each aspect emanated the spirit of Wang Shiji, the sage of calligraphy, with layers of ink blending that conveyed a weightiness transcending millennia. Goodness, look at that seal. The small seal of Jingguan in the center. Could it be a collection mark from Emperor Taizong of the Tang dynasty? Insanity. Has Wang Xiao truly lost his mind? To showcase such a national treasure on a live stream? Will he not be targeted by those in the heavenly realm? Wang Yu is, after all, one of them, oh. Then it's not a concern. No need for alarm upstairs. But was it this Lantingyi Su said to be lost? Observing the mounting and ink quality. Even if it were a replica, it must be of imperial caliber. Look at how no two characters are identical. The strokes seem alive. It may not be a counterfeit at all. My grandfather is a master of ancient book restoration, and upon seeing the screenshot, his hands trembled as he remarked that the paper fibers are made from the unique mulberry bark of the Jin dynasty, which is impossible to replicate. Oh dear, I am now hesitant to breathe too loudly, fearing I might damage the treasure displayed on the screen. To those who disparaged Wang Xiao earlier, do you have the courage to show yourselves now? This is the true essence of cultural heritage. Can your meager allowances even afford to gild the edges of this scroll? Is there anyone knowledgeable who can enlighten us on its true value? Should it prove authentic? I wish to grasp its worth, for otherwise, I feel as though I am gazing upon a mere imitation. Money? Can such a national treasure truly be quantified by monetary means? In the past, Emperor Taizong of Tang nearly lost his mind over it, even resting his head upon it in death. Suddenly, I feel that my life has been worthwhile. To be able to behold the same artifact as an emperor, even if only through a screen. Wang Xiao, please turn the page. Let me see the inscriptions on the back. I have heard that renowned masters of various dynasties have left their marks upon it. Do not rush. Turn slowly. I wish to capture a screenshot for my wallpaper. It will lend me confidence in future conversations. The barrage of comments grew increasingly rapid, from initial astonishment to later fervor. An avalanche of text nearly overwhelmed the screen. Even the previously silent viewers could not help but emerge. The entire live stream transformed into a grand treasure appraisal event, with all eyes fixed upon the yellowed rice paper scroll. This is the allure of the sage of calligraphy, Wang Shiji, and the charm of the Lantingyi Su. It is a singular masterpiece, truly one of a kind. Wang Yu perused it while explaining, urging those who wish to screenshot to do so promptly. This is an item I cherish deeply. I noticed some friends inquiring about the cost. I can only say the price is astronomical. However, to procure it from foreign hands is worth every penny. No amount of money can compare to its value. Chapter 434. The squid content is excessive suddenly. The live stream was inundated with a plethora of gift animations. Planes, sports cars, and carnivals floated across the screen as if they were free. For reasons unbeknownst to me, tears welled up in my eyes. Do not say anything. I feel like crying. This is history from our textbooks materializing in reality, a surreal sensation. This is the most precious treasure of our 5,000-year-old Chinese civilization. Why does one you not consider donating the Lantingyi Su to the state, allowing more people to appreciate it? Wang Yu has shown a degree of selfishness. The Lantingyi Su should not be a private possession, but a treasure belonging to all Chinese people. Witnessing this, Wang Yu let out a helpless sigh, paused his actions, and meticulously returned the Lantingyi Su to its box. In that fleeting moment, countless individuals, through their phones, expressed their anxious outcries. Wang Xiao, why have you put away the Lantingyi Su? Please, let me have one more glance. I have just arrived and seen nothing. You are all foolish. Did you not just advocate for Wang Yu to donate the Lantingyi Su to the state? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Do you not understand? If you possessed such a treasure, you would likely keep it hidden, would you not? Wang Xiao's willingness to share it with us is already a generous act. It is ungrateful to demand more. Indeed, he has kindly presented a national treasure for our enjoyment. And instead of gratitude, you resort to moral coercion? What an absurdity. Donation? Such words are easily spoken. If you truly donate, can you guarantee its preservation? How many artifacts have been irreparably damaged in certain places? At least if Wang keeps them, he can ensure they remain intact. The notion of donating is rather humorous. Those familiar with the tales of the listening spring cat know that one piece resides in the Forbidden City and another in my possession. If Wang dares to donate, this piece of Lanting Su will appear in someone's collection within 3 days. It seems more prudent to keep it with our idol. At least we might still have the opportunity to admire it. Those who instigated the earlier discussions must be trolls, right? As soon as Wang showcased his prized possession, they began to stir trouble. What is their intention? The comments quickly split into two factions. One side expressed righteous indignation, while the other argued that national treasures should belong to the state. The earlier flurry of gift effects was soon overshadowed by a torrent of words. Wang Yu leaned back in his chair, lightly tapping the table with his fingertips. After the commotion settled, he spoke slowly, his voice emanating through the phone with a hint of indifferent coldness. Firstly, this is something I acquired for over $1 billion, purchased from foreigners, and it has nothing to do with any of you. He paused, scanning the screen, his tone suddenly turning grave. Secondly, donating is a matter of sentiment. Not donating is a matter of principle. If you have the means, offer $100 billion, and I shall gladly relinquish it. Instantly, silence enveloped the live stream. $100 billion. Who would be foolish enough to spend such an amount on a mere calligraphy piece? Even the richest man in Huagua, Wang Xikong, with his hundreds of billions in assets, would never squander such a fortune on an item meant solely for admiration, let alone the ordinary individuals among them. With over 10 million viewers in the live stream, how many possess assets amounting to $1 million? This is absurd. If not for Wang Yu, what would you even be watching? Merely having something to view is already a privilege, yet you still complain? Wang Xikong, the owner of 2 huskies, sent a comment. Just settle down already. Look at your naive demeanor. Given the chance, I would take you to see what treasures the foreign aristocracy possesses. What is so exhilarating about just one Lanting Su? Qin Fan commented. All right, our principal is quite the showman, and now you've piqued my curiosity. If you have the chance, do take me along. Principal, is that a promise? Let us agree on this. I'll ensure to follow you. If you do stream, remember to announce it in advance. This conversation has indeed sparked anticipation. Although the Lanting Su is precious, it ranks only in the secondary tier among the most exquisite artifacts. Well then, everyone has seen enough. And it is nearly noon. We shall meet again next time. Wang Yu glanced at his wristwatch and, after uttering this line, promptly closed the live stream. This left millions of viewers staring at the darkened screen, bewildered. Is that it? Just like that, the stream ended? Millions of viewers left in the lurch? Frankly, we wouldn't mind watching you eat. I suggest you keep your remarks cleaner next time, as Wang might just show us a glimpse of the heavenly palace. Originally, Wang Shao bravely presented the Lanting Su to us, despite the admonitions from his family. Perhaps, upon finishing the broadcast, he would be met with their disapproval. Now, it is certain that he is indeed facing reprimand. It is time to disperse. My mind is filled with the imagery of the Lanting Su, and I must quickly practice to preserve this feeling. Wang, the owner of a Siberian husky, remarked, boring. Qin Fan added, uninteresting. The two hastily exited the live broadcast room, and others gradually followed suit. In an instant, major media outlets began reporting on the events that transpired in Wang Yu's live stream. The gossip surrounding Jin Ke and Yu Ming had ceased to satisfy their curiosity. The wager that could make someone a millionaire was only mentioned in passing. The focus of all online reports converged on the Lanting Su, the unveiling of the authentic masterpiece, igniting a frenzy across the internet. Yet, none of this swayed Wang Yu. Having dared to reveal it, he was unperturbed by others' opinions. A mere Lanting Su held little significance for the colossal Wang family, stirring not even the slightest ripple. Wang Jiangwo would certainly not harbor dissatisfaction over it. Wang Yu casually placed his phone on a coffee table, then took the box back to the vault. He entered the password, opened the door, and placed it inside. This room was specially designed for the preservation of such items, and it remained starkly empty, save for some weapons and a golden scepter. After securely closing the door, Wang Yu strode towards the garden, where Jin Ke and Yu Meng sat on wicker chairs. Still engaging with the audience from the live stream, their smiles radiant. They appeared to be in high spirits, engrossed in cheerful conversation. Upon noticing Wang Yu's arrival, Jin Ke and Yu Meng nodded and sweetly addressed the live audience. That concludes today's broadcast. We shall see you tomorrow. Goodbye. With that, they disregarded their fans' pleas and ended the stream. Wang Yu settled himself between the two women, embracing them gently, and asked, how was the inaugural broadcast? Jin Ke and Yu Ming rested their heads on Wang Yu's sturdy arms and replied with laughter. It went quite well. With the company having arranged for an online presence beforehand, we garnered 500,000 followers right from the start. Wang Yu, contemplating for a moment while caressing their slender waists, smiled and said, "Keep it up. The company will fully support you, aiming to surpass 1,000 followers on your overseas accounts within 3 months." "Thank you, Wang Xiao." Jean Kuer and Yu Ming chimed in unison, their faces brimming with joy. Wang Yu nodded pensively. This was merely a trivial step toward the grand vision of achieving 50 billion in notoriety. The next phase of capital expansion would be directed overseas. Acquiring recognition swiftly would necessitate the acquisition of Hollywood entertainment companies or media outlets. Once these companies are successfully acquired, fame would be within easy reach. However, the relationships within foreign media and entertainment firms were exceedingly intricate, and a careful approach would be required. Chapter 435. Surpassing their expectations, Yu Ming and Jean Kuer exchanged glances, each harboring distinct thoughts. Yet, there was one commonality. In each other's eyes, they perceived a glimmer of determination. Thanks to their initial connection with the robust Wang Yu, they established a substantial relationship that has not disappointed them since. By leveraging Wang Yu's influence, their live streaming audience has surged, making them the most popular streamers on the platform. They have overshadowed their competitors who once loomed above them. Now, with substantial capital investment in their company, Wang Yu has undeniably become their true benefactor. Today alone, they amassed gifts totaling 7 to 8 million. After deducting commissions, this amount equates to several months' worth of their usual earnings, achieved in just a few short hours. This remarkable success fills them with immense joy, especially since Wang Yu has promised to attract 10 million foreign fans within 3 months. An opportunity that most stars in Huagua can only dream of. Wang Yu has graciously offered them this privilege without imposing any stringent demands. Were it not for their experience of engaging with a myriad of personalities as streamers, they might have been overwhelmed with excitement. Jean Kuer and Yu Ming are acutely aware that they are not exceptional. They are not significantly different from other women. The resources Wang Yu has invested in them are intrinsically linked to their prior intimate relationship. To ensure that Wang Yu does not replace them, they naturally feel the need to be proactive and win his favor. "Boss, you must have worked hard overseas. Allow me to massage your shoulders," Yu Ming said, extending her delicate hand to gently knead Wang Yu's shoulders. Jean Kuer, not to be outdone, leaned against Wang Yu's chest and playfully remarked, "You haven't contacted us sisters for so long. You must miss us dearly." Wang Yu, flanked by the two, was enveloped in the distinct fragrances that wafted from them. He reclined slightly in his chair, allowing Yu Ming's fingers to apply pressure on his shoulder and neck, the sensation perfectly balanced, imbued with a hint of seduction that he found quite pleasurable. "Oh, how much do you miss me?" Wang Yu replied with a smirk, his gaze lingering on Jean Kuer, who was nestled against him, his fingertips idly brushing through her smooth hair. Jean Kuer lifted her head, her doe-like eyes shimmering with a hint of playful grievance. "I miss you every night, wondering if you're eating on time, if you think of us sisters," and she paused, snuggling closer to Wang Yu, her voice dropping to a whisper, "when you'll return and bring us gifts." As soon as she finished speaking, Yu Ming paused her massage, then smiled and interjected, "Kuer is always thinking about presents. Personally, I would be content if you just remembered me upon your return." Leaning closer to Wang Yu, she whispered, "By the way, I've learned some new gaming skills that you must try out later." "Oh, were they?" Wang Yu inquired, suddenly intrigued. With a playful giggle, Yum declared that she had joined Jean Kuer in her studies, encouraging him to give it a try. Before long, her clothing slipped away, and she pressed her lips against Wang Yu's, who reciprocated with fervent desire. In a mere moment, Yum's gaze became entranced. Jean Kuer, having tied her hair up, crouched down, a hint of shyness gracing her features. On the sofa in the living room, both Jean Kuer and Yum, glistening with sweat, lay upon Wang Yu's robust form, panting heavily. Yum's face radiated satisfaction, though her eyes flickered with uncertainty. Biting her lip, she looked at Wang Yu with a playful pout, saying, "Brother Wang Yu, I truly adore you. It feels as though I cannot be apart from you anymore. Now, Jean Kuer and I are your girlfriends, right?" At her words, Jean Kuer quickly propped herself up, rubbing her lips in anticipation as she gazed at Wang Yu. She wished to voice something, but ultimately fell silent, her eyes reflecting both hope and a trace of fear. Apprehensive of receiving a rejection, Wang Yu, observing the two women nestled in his embrace, responded without hesitation to their eager gazes, "Of course. You have both long been my girlfriends, haven't you?" Instantly, Jean Kuer and Yum erupted in joyful cheers. Their previously weary bodies seemed to regain strength, and they bestowed sweet kisses upon Wang Yu. He merely smiled, having anticipated their inquiry. After his affirmation, he awaited the system's notification, yet it remained unresponsive. Damn it, Wang Yu muttered under his breath, realizing that he had overestimated the situation. In the system's eyes, Jean Coeur and Yum were already his women, and this formal acknowledgement elicited no reaction. Ah, Brother Wang Yu, we haven't rested well yet. However, upon hearing this, Jean Coeur and Yum evidently misinterpreted his words. Their faces flushing crimson, their voices dripping with sweetness, and desire reigniting in their eyes. If one were to consider what pleased them most about Wang Yu, aside from his wealth, it would undoubtedly be his striking visage and his remarkable stamina. Wang Yu's prowess exceeded their wildest imaginations. Curiously, since his return, he appeared even more robust, leaving them utterly satisfied and longing to be with him at all times. It's noon. Less of lunch, Wang Yu chuckled helplessly, rising to dress himself before stepping outside. Having failed to accrue system points, his enthusiasm waned. Upon entering the living room, he found exquisite dishes freshly prepared, still steaming from the kitchens of a five-star hotel, already delivered to the Tianmu Palace. Wang Yu savored the delectable food while glancing at the radiant faces of Jean Coeur and Yum, relishing their attentive service. Such culinary delights, paired with their ethereal beauty, would have made even emperors of old envious of his current enjoyment. Half an hour later, thoroughly satisfied, Wang Yu settled on the sofa, sipping a cup of tea to cleanse his palate, and smiled, asking, "Where are you both staying now?" The housing prices in the bustling metropolis are exorbitant. Yum and I share a rental apartment not far from here, Jean Coeur remarked softly. Wang Yu expressed his curiosity, asking, after all these years as streamers, "Haven't you considered purchasing a home?" "We do intend to buy a house," Yum sighed, "but the prices in the metropolis are truly staggering. Even in slightly better locations, the costs are prohibitive. We have been renting with the hope of saving enough to make a full purchase. After all, in our profession, when popularity surges, earnings are plentiful. Yet when the attention wanes, being burdened by a mortgage can be quite distressing." Chapter 436. Who are they to each other? Ah, I see. Wang Yu nodded and continued. I own several properties in this area. You may each select an apartment in the Tangchun Yipin complex nearby. I wouldn't want my women to squeeze into a shared apartment. Outsiders might think I'm being stingy. Really? I absolutely adore you for this. Jean Coeur and Yum exclaimed, visibly thrilled. Tangchun Yipin is renowned throughout the nation, its steep prices rendering it a mere dream for them, something they never even considered. Wang Yu's offer to let them move there was undoubtedly exciting. Moreover, since he suggested they each choose a unit, it was clear that, given his status, he would not retract the offer, provided they remained loyal to him. In essence, the apartments would belong to them, even if their names were not on the deeds. This detail seemed trivial in comparison. Subsequently, Wang Yu shared the floor details and access codes for the Tangchun Yipin apartments. He then picked up a communication device from the coffee table and said casually, "Xiao Wu, come in for a moment." At that instant, the door opened, and a bodyguard entered, his gaze directed at the ground as he respectfully stated, "Boss, how may I assist you?" Wang Yu turned to Jean Coeur and Yum, smiling. "I have some matters to attend to shortly. Please go ahead and tidy up the house and move to your new home. If you need anything, just contact me. Xiao Wu, take 2 of your brothers to assist them." "Yes, boss," the bodyguard Xiao Wu replied respectfully. "Darling, we shall take our leave now." "Very well." Jean Coeur and Yum headed towards the door, with bodyguard Xiao Wu following closely behind. Once they departed, Wang Yu took out his phone and opened his messages. Xiao Xue had sent a greeting emoji. Wang Yu tapped to add her as a friend. She had evidently been watching her phone, as she quickly noticed Wang Yu's attention and sent a message. "Hello, Wang Xiao. I hope I'm not interrupting your meal." "I've already eaten," Wang Yu responded, somewhat surprised by the girl's considerate nature. He had expected her to be eager for a reward. Instead, she inquired about his meal. How intriguing. Upon glancing at her profile, he noticed she hadn't posted any videos, only that she was a 21-year-old girl residing in the metropolis. Wang Yu chose not to elaborate further and typed, "Please provide your name and bank account details. I will arrange for a transfer." After a moment of silence, a message arrived from her. "Young Master Wang, I do not require the 10 million. I merely wish to share a meal with you. Would that be agreeable? Are you certain? I have already considered it. I know a restaurant with quite a decent reputation. How about tonight?" Wang Yu stroked his chin, chuckling softly as he glanced at his phone, typing, "Sure, 8 o'clock tonight. Please send me the address." "Thank you, young Master Wang. I will make a reservation shortly. See you in the evening. Goodbye." Her candidness took Wang Yu by surprise. The fact that she had not sought the 10 million was unexpected, and now she was proactively concluding the conversation. What could her intentions possibly be? Did she have ulterior motives? He was intrigued to discover what this young woman truly sought. He hoped she would not disappoint him. Upon arriving at the underground parking garage, Wang Yu retrieved the key to his LaFerrari and pressed the unlock button. The sleek vehicle before him illuminated with vibrant lights, resembling a solidified flame resting deep within the garage. The car's contours were as sharp as a drawn blade, with the hood's lines piercing forward, clashing with the honeycomb patterns of the carbon fiber air intakes, igniting a wild spark. As the headlights suddenly blazed to life, they resembled the fangs of a fierce beast, slicing two bright trails on the ground. Once inside, Wang Yu patted the steering wheel, exclaiming, "Hello, my friend. It has been a while." He disengaged the handbrake and ignited the engine. Gradually, he pressed down on the accelerator. Roar, roar, roar. In an instant, the crimson LaFerrari erupted with a deafening roar, propelling itself forward. After exiting the residential area, Wang Yu pressed the pedal down harder, and the LaFerrari darted towards the company like a streak of lightning. In a mere moment, he applied the brakes, slowing down before the central skyscraper. It was astonishingly close. Wang Yu couldn't help but ponder taking the car to a professional racetrack to fully unleash its performance and revel in the thrill of speed. However, he wondered if, now with the prowess of a martial arts master, he would still feel his heart race with the LaFerrari's explosive velocity. After parking the vehicle on the street outside the skyscraper, Wang Yu stepped out. As he emerged, numerous passersby recognized his identity. Yet, in this financial hub of Huaihua, the crowd consisted primarily of elite professionals, maintaining an air of decorum. Only a few individuals, aware of their status, approached him to introduce themselves and offer their business cards before discreetly departing. Wang Yu accepted each card, noting that most were from distinguished law firms or investment and insurance managers, representing the CRME de la CRME of Huaihua elite. Such talent might prove beneficial for his company in the future. Entering the elevator, it ascended steadily, soon arriving at the floor of Whale Capital. Ding! The elevator doors opened, and Wang Yu stepped out. The receptionist immediately recognized his presence, her face lighting up with a sweet smile as she gracefully bowed, saying, "Welcome, Mr. Wang." Indeed, Wang Yu strode towards his office, greeted by the respectful salutations of employees along the way. Under their watchful gazes, he entered his office. "Darling, you're here." Long Lily had been waiting in the room. Upon seeing Wang Yu, she shut the door and cast a pensive glance at him. "What is the matter? Who has upset my little darling? They must be quite reckless. Tell me, and I shall deal with them." Wang Yu chuckled as he embraced her and settled onto the sofa. Long Lily was still clad in her professional attire from the morning, and the sight of her reignited some of Wang Yu's earlier irritation. The office, meticulously arranged by Long Lily, exuded a refreshing cleanliness, with the flowers and plants trimmed neatly, evidently indicating her frequent visits during his absence. "Well, you naughty one. It seems I'm not the only one you can bully." Long Lily sat sideways on him, letting out a playful huff. "I was the first to rush to the airport to greet you, yet you chose to linger with those two vixens." "They are not vixens. They are your sisters," Wang Yu corrected with a grin. "Sisters? Humph." Long Lily playfully swatted away Wang Yu's mischievous hand, feigning anger. Chapter 437. Go find some cold medicine. "Just because you say they are not, doesn't tea make it so." "I missed you, dear," Wang Yu remarked, his gaze drawn to her alluring crimson lips, which he then captured with his own. Long Lily's eyes fluttered shut, her porcelain arms wrapping around Wang Yu's neck, fervently responding to his advances. Wang Yu rose abruptly and headed towards the lounge area. "Let us see just how much you've missed me. Your lips feel sweeter than ever. Darling, take me." In that moment, the secluded lounge of his office was filled with ethereal, captivating moans, the melodious sounds stirring the deepest desires within one's soul. But these enchanting sounds were securely locked away behind two closed doors, betraying not a whisper. Macau, the luxurious villa on Hejia Hills. "Sister, should we give the elixir that Brother Wang Yu sent to father?" In the living room, only He Chaoxin, He Chaoyan, and He Yu Jun were present. Old Master, he had retreated to his room for a rest after lunch, and the other ladies had their own engagements, leaving the trio to converse. He Chaoxin held a wooden box, evidently containing the longevity and healing elixirs sent by Wang Yu. He Chaoyan glanced at her and said, "I trust Brother Wang Yu. If he claims it can extend life by 12 years, then it surely can." He Yu Jun appeared hesitant. He Chaoyan's expression instantly hardened, revealing her disappointment. "He Yu Jun, what do you mean? Don't you wish for father to recover? Are you so blinded by greed that you would forsake familial bonds? No. He Yujun hurriedly waved his hands in denial. I merely think the origin of these elixirs seems rather peculiar. Furthermore, even if they are genuine, they have likely been in that cave for years. How can we be certain their efficacy hasn't waned? Perhaps. He Yujun furrowed his brows and spoke. After so many years, the elixir may have lost its efficacy, but if it has expired and produced toxins, that would be problematic. My father's body is already frail and deteriorating. If the elixir truly poses a risk, it would be disastrous. He Zhaolian, realizing her misunderstanding of He Yujun, offered an apologetic expression, though her countenance bore a hint of distress. He Yojun's concerns were not without merit. After all, this elixir was merely acquired by Wang Yugang within his cave, and she had likely never partaken of it herself. What if the elixir had indeed expired? The elixir must be fine. I trust Brother Wang Yu. He Zhao Xian asserted confidently, harboring no doubts regarding the integrity of the elixir in her possession. It had been personally entrusted to her by Wang Yu. Thus it could not possibly be flawed. He Yujun sighed at his younger sister's obstinacy. His beloved sister seemed irredeemable, her mind clouded by infatuation. Ever since establishing a relationship with Wang Yu, she appeared to have lost her intellectual acuity. What qualities did Wang Yu possess to inspire such unwavering trust in the female heart? Despite He Zhaolian's reputation as a competent professional, she too, upon encountering Wang Yu, exhibited a similar lack of clarity. Although she acknowledged He Yojun's words and maintained her rationality, she still inclined towards administering the elixir to their father. He Yujun then rubbed his forehead and proposed, "Shall we present the elixir to our father and then deliberate further?" "Absolutely." He Zhaolian and He Zhao Xian nodded in unison. As they approached the bedroom door, it suddenly swung open, revealing a maid who emerged with a teapot. Upon noticing the group, she respectfully bowed. The commotion outside caught the attention of the elderly He Hongshan within, who, dragging his weary frame, inquired, "Is that Zhao Yin and Zhao Xian? What mischief are you two up to now?" "Father, we hope we're not disturbing your rest," He Zhao Xian replied. Stepping into the room and approaching the bed, her face adorned with a sweet smile as she entwined her arm with He Hongshan's. "It's no trouble to sleep a little later." He Hongshan extended his frail, withered hand to gently pat He Zhao Xian's hair, his murky eyes filled with affection. Glancing at He Zhaolian and He Yojun's hesitant expressions, he remarked, "If you have something to say, just speak up. No need for prevarication." Nothing escapes your keen eyes, father," He Zhao Xian teased playfully, sticking out her tongue. "I watch you grow up. I can tell when something weighs on your hearts. Since your return, you've both been rather distracted. Initially, I thought you were simply reluctant to part from your suitors. But it seems the matter is more complex than that." "Not at all." He Zhaolian and He Zhao Xian instantly flushed with embarrassment at He Hongshan's observation. They wished to deny it, but, realizing he was already aware of their circumstances, they could only lower their heads to evade his teasing gaze. Seeing his precious daughters in such a state, He Hongshan smiled gently. This was precisely the outcome he had desired. The He family needed a new pillar of support. And in his eyes, Wang Yu was the ideal choice for a son-in-law. Unexpectedly, Wang Yu's appetite proved to be rather insatiable. Both treasures were deceitfully taken from him. Fortunately, their love was genuine. Upon their return, the seasoned elder discerned that their hearts had become irrevocably bound to Wang Yu. Thus, the young rascal benefited from the situation. After having his cherished daughter, this scoundrel did not even bother to check on the old man. Such behavior was quite unreasonable. Achoo! Far away in the bustling metropolis, Wang Yu suddenly sneezed several times in succession, pausing his actions to rub his nose. It struck him as peculiar. His physical constitution had surpassed that of ordinary humans, rendering him immune to viruses that typically afflicted mankind. Yet, why did his nose feel uncomfortable just moments ago? Dragon Lily, drenched in fragrant sweat, noticed Wang Yu's unusual behavior. She raised her weary hand to his forehead, expressing concern. "Darling, what's wrong? Are you catching a cold? I'll fetch some medicine for you." With that, she attempted to rise and dress to retrieve the cold remedy. "It's nothing. I'm in good health," Wang Yu reassured her, gently grasping her delicate, fair arm and kissing her once more, dismissing any worries regarding a potential cold virus. Speak up. What is it that you wish to discuss?" He Chanlian hesitated momentarily, but under the penetrating gaze of He Hongshan, she gradually divulged the matter of the longevity elixir, including its origins from the cave. Upon hearing this, He Hongshan's eyes sparkled with an intense brilliance, his breath quickening as his withered hands trembled slightly. After a considerable pause, he regained his composure and, gazing at the box before him, restrained his excitement, and said slowly, "Open it for me to see." Chapter 438, Rebirth, all right. He Chun Lien complied, unfastening the tin clasp of the box. Upon opening it, 2 elixirs, resembling the size of longan fruits, were revealed. He Hongshan's nostrils flared slightly as the air filled with a fragrant medicinal aroma. Just the scent of it brought him a modicum of relief from his chronic ailments. He cautiously extended his finger, gently pinching the longevity elixir, his heart awash with tumultuous emotions. However, to He Yu-jun, He Chun Lien, and He Chun Xian, it appeared merely as though they were staring blankly at the elixirs, oblivious to the depth of He Hongshan's exhilaration. It is often said that as one ages, the appreciation for life grows stronger, and He Hongshan was no exception. Every day, various expensive herbs, nourishing ingredients, and rare medicines were lavished upon him without concern for cost, all in pursuit of extending his time on this earth. He harbored numerous regrets, countless desires unfulfilled, and an immense reluctance to depart from life. He feared the collapse of his company, the potential loss of his family's assets to outsiders after his demise, and the hardships his family would endure without financial stability. Having ascended from the lowest rungs of society, he was acutely aware of the struggles faced by the common people. These thoughts fueled his unwavering resolve to continue living. Originally, all hopes were placed upon Wang Yu, yet the small pill before him filled his heart with joy. If what Wang Yu said were true, the prospect of extending his life by 12 years was beyond his imagination. Even a few more years would suffice. He Yu-jun articulated all his concerns. Should we take it to a professional laboratory for examination to ensure its safety before consumption? After all, it had been stored underground for an unknown duration, and what if the efficacy had diminished or toxins had developed? There was no need for further discussion. He Hongshan slowly shook his head, the fragrance of the medicine wafting around him, bringing an increasing sense of ease to his body. This sensation could not be feigned. Without hesitation, he grasped the healing pill. As soon as it touched his tongue, it dissolved into a pool of liquid, which he swallowed. The moment the liquid slid down his throat, he felt a warm current meandering down his esophagus, akin to thawing spring waters flowing over a parched riverbed. Instinctively, he held his breath. The pain that had shadowed him for years seemed to be grasped by an invisible hand, while a multitude of ants crawled beneath his skin, soon followed by an indescribable wave of warmth. Typically, even lifting a cup of water required him to grit his teeth and endure, yet now, he could distinctly sense the stiff muscles around his shoulders gradually relaxing, much like an old vine regaining its flexibility after absorbing nourishing water under the sun. The persistent heaviness in his chest suddenly ruptured, releasing a torrent of stagnant air that had accumulated for an indeterminate time. Unable to suppress a cough, he lifted his gaze and met his reflection in the mirror. His once pallid cheeks now bore a faint blush, and the creases at the corners of his eyes, formed from years of enduring pain, began to soften. Even the murky yellow spots on the whites of his eyes had faded somewhat. He attempted to straighten his back and discovered that the aches that had long resided on either side of his spine had diminished significantly. Years of stooping had seemingly vanished, allowing him to stand upright. Even his breathing had become effortless, free from the discomfort that had once forced him to retreat after taking a breath. With a hearty laugh, He Hongshan rose, stretching his limbs, a bittersweet smile gracing his face. His once withered body now radiated vitality. Feeling completely liberated from pain, all the afflictions within him dissipated, all thanks to a mere small pill. In his current state, even without the longevity pill, he would likely live several more years. If the scene of He Hongshan's rejuvenation were to reach the outside world, countless powerful figures would undoubtedly covet it. He Zhao Yin and the others watched in astonishment as their father underwent this transformation after consuming the pill. He Yojuan's fingers remained suspended in midair, having just attempted to prevent his father from taking the pill. Now, his words caught in his throat, he could only gasp. He gazed at his father's straightened back. The curve that had been ingrained in his memory for nearly a decade, now seemingly straightened by an invisible force, even softening the newly sprouted white hairs at his temples. He rubbed his eyes and looked again, unable to believe the astonishing results. I had always believed that what Brother Wang Yu provided was without fault. How could you doubt it, you silly brother? He Chao Xian couldn't help but burst into laughter. He Chao Yin smiled at the corners of her mouth and quickly reminded, "The elixir truly works. Father, you must consume the longevity pill at once, and your health will be completely restored." With a hearty laugh, He Hongshan promptly swallowed the final longevity pill. Unlike the intense warmth of the healing pill, the longevity pill felt more like a handful of fresh morning dew cascading down his throat into his stomach. He Hongshun smacked his lips, initially unaware of any significant changes, but he soon felt the heat that the healing pill had ignited gradually subside, akin to the warmth of urinating in a cozy bed during the frigid winter, a sensation both soothing and pleasant. He Chaoyin was the first to lean in closer, her gaze fixed upon her father's forehead. The deep furrow that had once been carved there now appeared softened at the edges, resembling paper that had been gently soaked in warm water. Though still visible, it lacked the former sharpness. She reached out to touch it, but quickly withdrew her hand, her fingertips trembling slightly. The wrinkles at the corners of He Hongshun's eyes had indeed diminished, especially those near his cheekbones, where the previously clustered folds seemed to have been gently smoothed out, revealing a more delicate layer of skin beneath. "Father, look!" He Chao Xin suddenly exclaimed, pointing at the wisps of hair at his temples. Everyone followed her gaze and beheld a few dark strands emerging from the once frosted white hair, varying in length and closely adhering to his scalp. The deep black color, reminiscent of fresh dye, stood out strikingly against the surrounding silvery strands. He Jun reached out to part his father's hair and discovered two finer black strands on the other side. He Hongshun touched his cheek, sensing no notable difference, yet feeling considerably refreshed. Taking a deep breath, he noticed a complete absence of heaviness in his chest, as if the thin fog that had clouded his mind had been gently dispersed. Wow. He Jun opened his mouth, but words caught in his throat. While there were no earth-shattering changes, these subtle transformations were more astonishing than the previous excruciating pain that had subsided. The marks that had been etched by time had indeed been quietly smoothed out. It seemed that the longevity pill genuinely worked and had extended his father's life by 12 years. He Hongshun approached the mirror, tugging at the corners of his mouth, and when he smiled, he realized that the skin on his cheeks no longer felt taut and stiff, and his voice was noticeably more resonant. How wonderful! As soon as the words left his lips, he suddenly realized that after standing for so long, his knees bore no trace of soreness, something he had previously deemed unimaginable. In Chapter 439, the tower exclusively for capital swallowing, He Chao Xin suddenly embraced He Hongshun, whispering as tears streamed down her cheeks, her shoulders shaking with sobs. He Chao Yin's eyes glistened as well, a single tear escaping as she nestled her head against her father's not-so-broad chest. "You silly girls, I am perfectly fine now. It would be unseemly to cry any longer," He Hongshun said with a chuckle, gently comforting both He Chao Yin and He Chao Xin. He Yojuan's eyes were filled with excitement, and he promptly took out his phone to call the driver, intending to take his father to the best medical institution for a thorough examination. As the clock struck 2 in the afternoon, Wang Yu stepped into the office with punctuality, followed closely by Long Lily, who carried a folder. President Wang. President Wang." The office, adorned with well-dressed individuals, erupted in respectful exclamations as they rose to greet him upon his entrance. "Please, everyone, take your seats." Wang Yu approached the front, and after settling in, he surveyed the company's senior executives around him, nodding in satisfaction. "How has the company been faring lately?" President Wang. "The company's development is progressing strictly in accordance with your directives, coupled with the 700 billion funds you recently allocated, which has greatly facilitated our growth." Chen Yu, the general manager, reported enthusiastically on the company's recent investment activities. Currently, most of the funds on the company's books have been invested in promising sectors, including film and television, gaming, entertainment, and renewable energy. It can be said that what we need now is merely time, as we await the fruitful returns from these investments. As Wang Yu listened to General Manager Chen Yu and the reports from various departments, he perused the documents in his hands, occasionally providing directives. "Are there any other issues regarding development?" "No," Chen Yu replied, exchanging glances with Li Kai, Zhang Hui, and Lin Xie, their expressions betraying a hint of wry amusement. Wang Yu's notoriety on the internet had surged recently, and with it, the reputation of Jingtuan Capital had become nationally recognized, not due to the prowess of its business operations or its profit margins, but simply because Wang Yu was its owner. In negotiations, merely mentioning Jingtuan Capital warranted a higher regard from others. What trouble could there possibly be? "President Wang, will the company's development require any adjustments moving forward?" Wang Yu continued to peruse the folder in his hands, having invested in several well-known companies currently in decline. "For the time being, we shall maintain our position domestically." Chen Yu's expression shifted slightly. Could it be that President Wang was unsatisfied with the domestic market and intended to explore overseas opportunities? As he pondered this, Wang Yu added, "Going forward, I require you to prioritize investments or acquisitions of film and television companies in neighboring countries." Film and television? Indeed. We shall commence with the East Asian and Southeast Asian regions. I expect you to act with utmost urgency, while we remain static domestically. However, this approach may lead to substantial financial waste. Before Chen Yu could finish his thought, Wang Yu interrupted, "Do not concern yourself with financial matters. I will transfer 1 trillion to the company account shortly. Should you require more, simply ask. I have but one request." Chen Yu's expression grew serious as he responded promptly, "Your command, President Wang. After acquiring those news and media companies, I want you to promote me as extensively as possible." "Promote you?" Chen Yu asked, bewildered. Wang Yu, "Indeed, do your utmost to promote me. Manage the online videos and accounts related to me effectively, and strive to increase our follower count as much as possible." In the expansive conference room, a cacophony of voices emerged, revealing a profound confusion regarding Wang Yu's forthcoming arrangements for the company, particularly for Long Lily, who stood behind him. As Wang Yu's confidant, she too was perplexed by the rationale behind such decisions. However, Wang Yu wielded absolute control over the company. Chen Yu, momentarily lost in thought, quickly interjected, "Understood, Mr. Wang. The company's development will proceed according to your directives." He now offered unwavering trust and compliance to Wang Yu's commands. From being a seemingly superfluous asset to the company, he had swiftly ascended to become a coveted figure in the business world, all thanks to Wang Yu's recognition. The fame and fortune he had garnered exceeded his wildest expectations. Contemplating the salary and commission he had initially agreed upon with Wang Yu, he could scarcely fathom the sum he would receive during the New Year festivities. Without Wang Yu, he couldn't envision what his current self would resemble. As these thoughts coursed through his mind, he regarded Wang Yu with an expression brimming with gratitude. Wang Yu scanned the faces of several senior executives, noting their approval ratings, all hovering above 80 or 90. He nodded in acknowledgement. He could not manage the multitude of subordinates beneath him, but as long as these high-ranking individuals remained loyal, that was sufficient. Clarity often breeds a lack of fish. He merely needed to navigate the broader direction. With the assistance of established keywords and boundless financial support, Wang Yu felt uncertain about how he could possibly falter. The acquisition of global news media companies was not a fleeting whim, but rather a carefully considered strategy. By mastering the dissemination of information, he could not only fulfill the tasks set forth by the system with greater ease, but also attain a deeper grasp of the world. Initially, his ambition was to gradually infiltrate various sectors, slowly enabling Whale Capital to evolve into a towering giant of wealth. However, it now seemed viable to become an industry leader at the outset. After a sufficient discussion, Wang Yu prepared to adjourn the meeting when Human Resources Director Lin Se suddenly spoke up. "Mr. Wang, the company's workforce has reached 150 employees. Our current office space is insufficient. Should the company continue to expand, we will inevitably need to hire more staff, and there will be no place for them to work." Wang Yu furrowed his brow. "So, the company has recruited so many employees already?" He mused. No wonder the office had felt so congested upon his arrival. "Are there any vacant floors in the central building?" he inquired. Lin Xie shook her head, responding with resignation, "I have inquired with the property management. There are currently no additional floors available for lease." Wang Yu's fingers tapped thoughtfully against the solid wood table, his expression pensive. The room fell silent, with the others quietly awaiting his command. This was not a matter they could resolve. They would either need to continue renting additional spaces or buildings as new office locations, or they could opt for a more immediate solution: to construct a grand edifice exclusively for Whale Capital, capable of accommodating 50 to 100,000 individuals simultaneously. Is imperative to thoroughly resolve the issue of overcrowding. Only thus can we keep pace with the rapid development of Whale Capital. In Chapter 440, titled Brothers in Heart, Wang Yu, after a prolonged contemplation under the gaze of the crowd, reached a decision. The recruitment of new employees must persist, should office space be insufficient. We shall temporarily lease accommodations in a pleasant surrounding to transition smoothly. Subsequently, we will embark on the construction of a dedicated building for Whale Capital. A smile graced Wang Yu's face as he announced this resolution. The proposal was indeed viable. The company's swift progression necessitated a proprietary edifice. "I am in favor," resonated the voices of agreement within the conference room. Once matters were sufficiently addressed, Wang Yu waved his hand, signaling the adjournment of the meeting. The company leaders departed in succession, though Wang Yu noted a flicker in Li Kai's eyes, suggesting he had something to convey, prompting Wang Yu to retain him. Before long, Only the three of them remained in the conference room. Mr. Wang, Li Kai said, his face brimming with gratitude and respect. Wang Yu replied, nonchalantly, "You may simply call me by my name. No need for formality. Is everything well at home?" "Yes, Brother Wang." Li Kai hesitated momentarily before continuing. Meng Meng is relatively obedient, though occasionally a bit mischievous. She often clamors to visit the amusement park. Yanzi is recovering well, so you need not worry excessively. A look of happiness radiated from Li Kai's face as he spoke. Wang Yu's gaze swept across the room, a hint of a smile gracing his lips. While Li Kai may not possess great wealth, he undoubtedly exudes happiness. When contentment transcends desire, happiness becomes a lifelong companion, a treasure that no amount of money can rival. Many affluent individuals may lack the clarity of life that he possesses. This happiness springs from the love he shares with his wife and daughter, a rarity indeed. With a hint of hesitation, Li Kai finally ventured, "Brother Wang, I wonder if you might have time this evening. My wife wishes to express her gratitude to you in person and share a meal." Fearing rejection, he quickly added, "If your schedule is tight, then never mind. It all depends on your availability." "Certainly. After work, I will accompany you home," Wang Yu replied without hesitation. The thought of that quirky, delightful little girl illuminated his smile even further. "All right, I shall await you after work. I will return to my duties now." Li Kai Edflimed, excitement evident on his face as he stood and turned to resume his work. Once Wang Yu and Long Lily returned to the office, he settled onto the sofa and leisurely retrieved his phone, dialing a number. After a brief wait, the call connected. "Old Wang, congratulations on your newfound wealth," Wang Yu exclaimed. On the other end, Wang Xizong's voice emerged with a hint of confusion. "Wang Yu, what scheme have you concocted for riches? If there's good fortune, you must share it with your brother. I must commend you for this. Of course, when good things arise, you're the first I think of," Wang Yu replied with a calm smile. "What exactly is the matter? If too much investment is involved, I currently do not possess substantial funds," lamented Wang Xizong with a sense of helplessness. Before encountering Wang Yu, he believed himself to be a figure of considerable weight as the son of the wealthiest man in Huagua. In terms of finances, he felt that none of his peers could rival him. However, Wang Yu, he could not fathom his father's reasoning for bestowing such an extravagant amount upon him at the tender age of 20, while still pursuing his studies. With hundreds of billions at his disposal as pocket money, even he felt a twinge of envy. Such a vast sum of money would likely only be available to him decades later, once old Wang retired and entrusted the company to his management. "Do not remain silent. If it is unfeasible, I shall devise a plan. 3 to 5 billion should not pose a significant issue," Wang Xizong urged, as an anxious tone emanated from his phone. Wang Yu replied leisurely, "What is this talk of money? When it comes to helping a brother prosper, does money even matter?" Wang Xizong, taken aback, found himself perplexed. The company has decided to allocate 500 billion to construct a headquarters exclusively for Whale Capital. If funds fall short, we can always add more later. After all, it's just construction. I intend for this project to be entrusted to Yida Group, Wang Yu stated, a nonchalant smile gracing his lips as he revealed the information. 500 billion. Wang Xizong's hand trembled, nearly dropping his phone. After a moment of stunned silence, he quickly exclaimed, "Brother, are you serious? When did the company decide to build a building? Do not jest with me. And what headquarters requires a 500 billion? Are you certain you are not dreaming?" "Absolutely true. The decision was made just 10 minutes ago in a meeting," Wang Yu responded with a smile. "If you tell your father that this project was your initiative, I believe you will earn some respect at home." Without uttering another word, Wang Xizong felt deeply moved, his eyes brimming with tears, his voice quivering slightly. "All right. From here on out, liaise with Chunyu. I shall take no further part in this," Wang Yu said casually. "Understood," Wang Xizong affirmed, patting his chest. "By the way, where do you plan to construct the headquarters? If I recall correctly, all the prime locations in the city center have been developed. To meet the requirements, it seems we must build farther out. I intend to construct an unprecedented headquarters right here in the nearby sea, reclaiming land and building a bridge," Wang Yu declared, his voice unwavering, as if the air around them had momentarily stilled. Lily Long, who had been idly playing with Wang Yu's fingers, was taken aback by this statement, looking up at him with wide eyes filled with astonishment. Is such extravagance truly necessary for just a single building? Reclaiming land and constructing a bridge? This notion exceeded her comprehension. She had considered that, given the lack of suitable plots in the heart of the Magic City, Wang Yu might opt to purchase a piece of land at a high price or, alternatively, build slightly farther away, which would have aligned with her expectations. Yet, at that moment, Wang Yu spoke of reclaiming land and constructing a bridge. No wonder she prepared 500 billion. She was contemplating the purpose of such a sum. It is worth noting that the central tower beneath her feet cost merely over 100 billion. Such is the nature of emotions. Your intentions are commendable. But will those above concur? The voice of Wang Xikong, laden with intricate implications, resonated from the phone. This procedure may prove to be rather cumbersome. Leave the formalities to me. Just await the commencement, Wang Yu smiled. Do not. The moment the words escaped his lips, Wang Xikong interrupted. Since the project has been assigned to my family, there is no need for you to trouble yourself with the approvals. Otherwise, it would reflect poorly on my capabilities. Undertaking a land reclamation and bridge construction project is no trivial matter. A mere estimation reveals that 500 billion will undoubtedly fall short. Completing the entire endeavor may require an additional several hundred billion. The potential profits are indeed substantial. Naturally, Wang Xikong felt compelled to express some measure of involvement. He could not allow Wang Yu to shoulder all the burdens, as that would diminish his own standing and complicate his future endeavors. Very well, Wang Yu chuckled softly. In 2018, Yida Group was at its zenith, and undertaking a land reclamation project was trivial for them. Chapter 441. Realizing the negative impact after a brief exchange. Wang Yu ended the call, rising to adjust his attire. Long Lily fetched the company's financial officer, and with the assistance of the industrial and commercial bank, Wang Yu transferred 1,400 billion into the company's public account. Ding! The system has detected that the host has spent 1.4 trillion, a double cashback of 2.8 trillion is being processed. After depleting the remaining 1,400 billion, he received a double cashback of 2.8 trillion and subsequently transferred an additional 2,000 billion to the company's account as investment capital. Ding! The system has detected that the host has spent 2 trillion. A double cashback of 4 trillion is being processed. Glancing at his bank balance, Wang Yu noted it had swelled to 4.8 trillion. The more he utilized this wealth, the more it multiplied. At this rate, supplanting the world's richest individual was merely a matter of desire. Money at present held little value for him. Setting his phone aside, Wang Yu turned to Long Lily and said, "You shall accompany me." To where? Upon receiving no answer, Long Lily hurried to follow him. Once outside the company, they arrived at the central tower. Wang Yu approached the LaFerrari, unlocking it before getting in. Long Lily gracefully slid into the passenger seat, fastening her seatbelt after closing the door. Wang Yu started the engine and pressed the accelerator. Vroom! The LaFerrari surged forward like a red bolt of lightning. "Darling, where are we headed?" "To the hospital," Wang Yu replied nonchalantly. Upon hearing this, Long Lily suddenly recalled something and chose not to inquire further. The pair stopped at a shopping mall to purchase some supplements, spending 186,000 Huaxia coins. Ding! The system has detected that the host has spent 186,000. A double cashback of 372,000 is being processed. With the aid of the navigation system, Wang Yu drove the LaFerrari to Ruijin Hospital. After parking, he opened the car door and stepped towards the storage compartment to retrieve the supplements he had purchased. Upon seeing this, Long Lily remarked, "Darling, let me carry it. It wouldn't look good if outsiders saw." "It's all right," Wang Yu said, weighing the bags in his hands, which felt as light as a feather despite their considerable heft. A sweet smile instantly adorned Long Lily's face. Upon entering the hospital, Wang Yu had no intention of donning a mask to conceal his features. This was his homeland, where safety was assured. Even if fans recognized him, it was of no consequence. Due to Wang Yu's exceptionally high recognition factor, coupled with the presence of the striking Long Lily, it took but a moment for onlookers to identify him. Some young girls gazed excitedly in his direction, eager to approach for a photograph. Yet Wang Yu declined, as they were in a hospital and wished to avoid causing a disturbance. Instead, they captured distant shots with their phones, flashes illuminating the surroundings. Upon reaching the hospital's special care ward, Wang Yu paused, noticing through the window a woman in her 30s, who was placing a plate of freshly washed grapes before a man named Lung Feng. "Jiming, don't move. Let me help you," she said as she adjusted his recliner upon seeing him attempt to rise. "You've worked hard." "Ming Xia," Lung Feng sighed softly. "What hardship is there? Just eat," the woman named Ming Xia said, popping a grape into his mouth, her eyes filled with sorrow. "I've seen your sacrifices for this family. They say recovery from serious injury can take 100 days. Look at you. We do not know when you will fully recover." As she spoke, tears began to well in her eyes. Lung Feng quickly embraced her, smiling. "Why are you crying? This was merely an accident. Wang Xiao treats me well. In times of crisis, I naturally must risk my life to protect him. Look, It's nothing serious. A few months, and I shall be well. I'm a super special soldier. It's not that easy to die. Don't speak such ominous words, Ming Xiao retorted playfully, rolling her eyes. Wang Xiao is a benefactor to our family. Once you recover, I do not expect you to work as hard as before, but I do hope you might consider us mother and daughter. If anything were to happen to you, how would we survive as orphans? Rest assured, nothing will happen, Lung Feng replied with a smile. Last time was merely an accident. With Wang Xiao's status, who would dare harm him? You should relax. You scoundrel, Ming Xiao chided playfully. The atmosphere between them gradually thickened with a hint of intimacy. Suddenly, a few coughs echoed in the room. Lung Feng looked up, and upon seeing Wang Yu, his face flushed with embarrassment. Wang Xiao, what brings you here? Wang Yu, with a glint of amusement in his eyes, set down the supplements. Upon realizing it was Wang Yu, Ming Xiao became flustered, hastily standing up. Wang Xiao, I am Jiming's wife, Su Mingxia. Please have a seat. She hurriedly fetched 2 chairs for Wang Yu and Long Lily, appearing somewhat awkward as she stood nearby. Sister-in-law, please feel at ease. You may inquire with Lung Feng. I do not possess the bad temper often associated with those born into wealth. Wang Yu sat down and gazed at Su Mingxia, smiling warmly as he spoke. Long Lily set down what she was holding and replied with a smile, This is a special gift from the boss just for you. Upon hearing Long Lily's words, Su Mingxia's expression became even more uncomfortable. She leaned forward slightly, rubbing her hands anxiously, and exclaimed, This is too much. Your visit to our family S. Lung Feng is already a tremendous honor for us. How could we let you incur any expense? These items are far too precious. We absolutely cannot accept them. As she spoke, she attempted to push the supplements towards Wang Yu, but halfway through, she reconsidered, leaving her hand suspended in the air. Lung Feng quickly nodded in agreement, his face reflecting a mixture of surprise and gratitude. Yes, young Master Wang, please take them back. I'm already grateful for being in such a fine hospital and room thanks to your connections. I could not possibly accept your gifts. We truly appreciate your kindness. Su Mingxia and Lung Feng appeared anxious, fearing that Wang Yu might insist further. Observing their tense demeanor, Wang Yu's smile broadened. He waved his hand dismissively, saying, Sister-in-law, Lung Feng, you're being too polite. The injuries Lung Feng sustained were for my sake. It is only natural for me to bring a few items for him. Can I not express this small token of goodwill as his employer? That is not our intention, young Master Wang. It is simply that these gifts are far too extravagant. Lung Feng replied, beads of sweat forming on his brow. Extravagant. Wang Yu interrupted him, his tone carrying an air of authority. These are all beneficial for health. If you continue to refuse, it would suggest that you do not regard me as a brother. Long Lily chimed in supportively, Yes, sister-in-law, brother Lung. The boss specifically selected these for patients. You should simply accept them. Su Mingxia gazed into Wang Yu's sincere eyes, then glanced at the exquisitely packaged supplements. Her lips moved, but the words lodged in her throat. She understood that Wang Yu was genuinely concerned, yet she felt a twinge of guilt, tightly clutching the hem of her clothing. Her knuckles turning pale. Chapter 442. No rush to work after becoming Wang Yu's bodyguard. Lung Feng's salary had risen significantly. Moreover, following his injury, Wang Yu had promptly provided him with 5 million Chinese yuan, which was already quite generous. The supplements were clearly of considerable value. How could she shamelessly accept them? As Lung Feng began to speak again, Wang Yu stood up, patting his shoulder reassuringly. All right, Lung Feng, no need to be so formal with me. If you refuse again, it would be as if you're disregarding my feelings. Accept them quickly, or I might just get upset. With his words laid out so plainly, Lung Feng and Su Mingxiao exchanged glances, both recognizing their shared helplessness. They understood that further refusal would come across as ungrateful. Sighing, Lung Feng lowered his voice. Then we shall thank young Master Wang. We will remember this kindness. Once I recover, I will return to work at the earliest opportunity. Thank you, young Master Wang. You have truly taken great care of us. Su Mingxia quickly nodded, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. First, focus on your recovery. Work can wait. You can come back whenever you are ready, Wang Yu replied in a gentle tone. After saying this, he turned to Su Mingxia and stated, Sister-in-law, I have a few words to share privately with Lung Feng. All right, you two talk. I'll step out to fetch some more fruit, she responded. Su Mingxia nodded, VP then glanced at Lung Feng and then turned to leave. After she exited the ward, Lung Feng straightened his back, his gaze resolute as he addressed Wang Yu. Young Master Wang, is there something you wish to attend to? Although I'm currently unable to serve you directly, I still have other comrades whom I can summon. Oh, it's nothing. You're overthinking it. Wang Yu replied with a wave of his hand and a smile. Before him, Lung Feng appeared quite pitiful, still wrapped in bandages. Suddenly, he reached into his pocket and produced a dark, lychee-sized pill, presenting it before Lung Feng. It was indeed the healing elixir that Wang Yu had previously given to He Chaolian. Take it. What is this? Lung Feng asked, confusion etched on his face. Yet, upon seeing the seriousness in Wang Yu's eyes, he thought no further and promptly placed it in his mouth. As soon as it touched his tongue, the pill melted into a pool of medicinal liquid, startling Lung Feng. The liquid swiftly flowed down his throat into his stomach, followed by an indescribable warmth radiating outward, as if countless ants were scuttling through his body, creating a sensation of tingling and mild pleasure. He instinctively wanted to moan, but suddenly remembered Wang Yu and his girlfriend were present, causing the sound to die in his throat, his face turning crimson. The warmth surged within him for a moment before transforming into numerous fine streams of heat, precisely converging on the areas wrapped in bandages. He could distinctly feel the sharp pain in his arm, which had been torn from the injury, dissipating at a visibly rapid pace, as if immersed in warm water. Subconsciously, he moved his fingers. The joints, previously stiff from tendon strain, were now able to bend and flex with surprising ease, invigorating his entire arm. He looked down at his bandaged calf, which had been painfully swollen from a fracture. Now, however, it was tingling with a delightful itch, as if fresh flesh was burgeoning within. His legs, which had previously felt heavy and cumbersome, now felt light and unburdened. What is this? Coming back to his senses? Lung Feng widened his eyes in disbelief, cautiously raising his arm to touch the bandage on his chest. The sensation beneath his fingertips was no longer the tight swelling he had felt before, but a soft, elastic texture. He could sense the wound beneath the bandage healing rapidly. The tearing pain utterly vanished, replaced by an unprecedented lightness. Lung Feng looked up, astonished, at Wang Yu, who wore a smile on his face. Stammering, he exclaimed, "Is this a divine elixir?" Long Lily, somewhat puzzled, glanced at Lung Feng and then at Wang Yu, uncertain of their conversation. Just a single pill. Yet Lung Feng was acting as if it were shrouded in mystery. How could he claim it was divine so soon after consuming it? It seemed absurd. Wang Yu, with a standing, would not indulge in such triviality. This only suggested that the elixir was indeed extraordinary, yet now was not the time to inquire further. Long Lily suppressed her curiosity and remained silent. Wang Yu extended a finger to his lips, shook his head, and said, "It's enough that you know. There is no need to elaborate. It would be best if my sister-in-law remained unaware to avoid unnecessary complications. Shortly, I will arrange for your discharge. You should recuperate at home for a while and return to work after the new year. Consider it a vacation." Understood. Cold Feng's expression turned serious. Gratitude filled his face, rendering him momentarily speechless. "I can feel that my injuries have healed. Even those lingering wounds from my military days have vanished. The efficacy of this medicine is astonishing. But such a precious elixir, why bestow it upon me for what is not a grave injury? Surely, you must have limited quantities. It should be preserved." A look of regret crossed Cold Feng's face, wishing he could persuade the doctor to extract the precious medicine from his body, as it seemed a waste to utilize such a treasure on him. Why lament its use? It has been consumed. Wang Yu smiled. "Enough of your health concerns. I shall take my leave now." Cold Feng did not urge him to stay, watching as Wang Yu and Long Lily departed. At the end of the corridor outside the hospital room, a crowd had gathered. The moment they spotted Wang Yu, they erupted in excited shouts. "It's really Wang Yu. Why is he at the hospital? And that woman beside him is stunning. How enviable." As whispers circulated about the male idol's presence, the throng surged forward, eager to interact with him, but were held back by the formidable presence of Shadow and Dark Owl, who stood a few meters ahead of Wang Yu. Though only two individuals, they formed an impenetrable barrier, preventing anyone from advancing further. Seeing the overwhelming crowd, Wang Yu had no desire to pause for photographs. He continued walking towards the parking lot. Before long, they reached the parking area. Without hesitation, Wang Yu waited for Long Lily to enter the car before swiftly accelerating away, leaving behind disappointed fans who had just arrived at the hospital entrance, watching the car fade from view. As for Shadow and Dark Owl, they had their own means of departing the scene. Inside the Ferrari LaFerrari, Long Lily, unable to contain her curiosity as they merged into the bustling traffic of Magic City, turned to Wang Yu and inquired, "Darling, what was that elixir all about? It wouldn't be a cleverly disguised pharmaceutical, would it? You have quite the imagination." Wang Yu replied, his left hand gripping the steering wheel while his right playfully tapped her forehead. "What was that for?" Long Lily protested, covering her forehead with her hand in a teasing manner. Wait until we return to the company. I have something delightful for you to try, and then you shall understand. Wang Yu said with a slight smile, falling into a comfortable silence as he pressed down on the accelerator with increasing vigor. Chapter 443. For one's own happiness upon returning to the company, Wang Yu settled onto the sofa while Long Lily began to prepare tea. She retrieved a small Celadon jar from the top shelf of the tea cabinet. With a gentle shake of her fingertips against the edge of the jar, an extraordinary aroma wafted forth, distinct from the common fragrance of tea. Initially, it presented a sweet, caramelized scent reminiscent of roasted sugar, intertwined with hints of honey orchid. Upon closer inspection, the fragrance revealed a subtle note of osmanthus, sun-dried upon a bluestone slab, layering upon itself and enveloping her senses. It felt as though the morning mist and afternoon sunlight of Anshi's tea mountains had been infused into the jar. These tea leaves were the same ones she had tasted during her last visit to Xiang's home, rumored to be worth hundreds of thousands per pound. A parting gift from Xiang Tai. Long Lily lifted the lid of the Celadon jar. Inside lay tightly rolled tiguanyin leaves, resembling dark green dragonfly heads. The tea buds at the bottom glimmered with a silvery sheen, and upon closer inspection, each leaf bore delicate creases, marks left from the meticulous kneading, encapsulating the art of fermentation. She reached for a purple clay teapot, its body already heated from boiling water, steam rising as she lifted the lid. Hot water cascaded into the pot, instantly releasing a cloud of white mist, the enveloping aroma of tea bursting forth and filling the room. The initially compact tea leaves gradually unfurled in the boiling water, blooming like dark green flowers, their edges glistening with amber hues. The first infusion produced a bright amber liquid, and fine tea droplets clung to the cup's walls, refusing to dissipate. She slid the teacup toward Wang Yu, softly encouraging him, "Give it a try. It smells delightful and should taste exquisite." Wang Yu lifted the cup, warmth rising in gentle tendrils. After a slight blow to cool it, he took a sip. Instantly, the tea's fragrance exploded in his mouth, lingering long after he swallowed. "This is truly exceptional tea," Wang Yu remarked, nodding in appreciation. Feigning a search through his belongings, he soon produced an object, revealing it before Long Lily. His palm opened to unveil a jade-green elixir, exuding a pleasant fragrance that danced in the air. Long Lily instinctively inhaled, her eyes brightening with curiosity. "What is this? It smells wonderful. Is it similar to the elixir given to Long Feng? Yet this fragrance is far more enchanting." Wang Yu, grinning mischievously, introduced the elixir. This pill was procured from an ancient cave, said to be a youth-preserving elixir. Consuming it allows one to maintain eternal youth. "I don't have many, but this one is for you." "Really?" Long Lily responded, surprised and visibly delighted, though a hint of skepticism flickered in her eyes. Wang Yu's claims were astonishingly fantastical. In modern society, had he mentioned cutting-edge research from elite laboratories, she would have believed without hesitation. Setting aside her doubts, she extended her slender fingers to grasp the fragrant pill, and at Wang Yu's nod, she delicately placed it in her mouth. The moment it touched her tongue, it transformed into a cool liquid, flowing throughout her body. Long Lily closed her eyes in bliss, unable to suppress a soft moan. After a moment, she opened her eyes and gazed at Wang Yu, saying, "Dear, this feels wonderfully refreshing." Wang Yu gazed at the radiant Long Lily before him, momentarily rendered speechless. Her originally fair cheeks now resembled white jade, imbued with the delicate sheen of morning dew, exuding a soft, pearlescent glow. Even the fine downy hairs glimmered with a subtle luster. The brilliance was dazzling. The faint dark circles from late nights had vanished, and the corners of her eyes were gently lifted, reminiscent of willow leaves caressed by a spring breeze, adding an enchanting vitality. Her once clear eyes now sparkled like mountain spring water, shimmering with every blink as if they could captivate one's very soul. Her lips, too, had transformed, taking on a more vibrant hue, akin to rose petals kissed by the morning dew, radiating a natural blush. The slight upward curve of her mouth sent a delightful tremor through his heart. Wang Yu swallowed hard, regaining his voice after a considerable pause, infused with subtle astonishment. "Lily, you look truly beautiful." "Really?" Long Lily, noticing the authenticity in Wang Yu's expression, felt a flicker of curiosity. She retrieved a small mirror from her bag and, upon glancing at her reflection, was momentarily stunned, hardly able to believe her eyes. Wang Yu summoned the eye of truth to peer at her more closely. Name, Long Lily. Age, 26. Height, 168 centimeters. Charm, 9,396. Physique, 81. Affection, 100. Skills, advanced accounting, advanced steward, advanced etiquette. Wang Yu was taken aback. Those 300 points were indeed well spent. The youth-preserving pill had not only enhanced her beauty, but had done so without any notable side effects. Although the increase was modest, merely 3 points, every flaw on Long Lily's face had vanished, elevating her overall aura significantly. She was a true natural beauty. This was a transformation unattainable through any cosmetic procedure. It was a holistic enhancement, devoid of any adverse effects, and once consumed, this appearance would be preserved for a lifetime. Free from the fears of aging, Wang Yu settled beside Long Lily, observing her lost in the mirror's reflection, teasingly remarked, "What's wrong? Can't believe you're this beautiful?" He wrapped his arms around her slender waist and gently removed the mirror, leaning closer to her face. Moments later, amidst her quickened breaths, he slowly lifted his head. With a twinkle in his eyes, he playfully pinched her soft cheek. "Your skin has become so supple. The youth-preserving pill truly suited you." Long Lily, still in a daze, looked at Wang Yu and asked, "Honey, I'm not dreaming, right? This is all real?" "Absolutely real. Your fragrance is so enchanting that I can't bear to let you go." Wang Yu placed her on his lap, smiling. "Feel for yourself. Your body's reactions cannot lie." Her cheeks flushed crimson. She adjusted her position slightly, extending her delicate hands to examine them. Her already soft hands now appeared even more tender and fair. The tips of her fingers bore a faint pink hue, and her nails shimmered with a lustrous, mother-of-pearl sheen. The crescent white parts as clear as if meticulously sculpted from jade. Even the delicate blush at the tips of her fingers resembled a trace of rouge inadvertently smudged, exuding an endearing charm. Long Lily herself was momentarily entranced, her fingertips grazing her palm, evoking an illusion of touching clouds. Even the faint imprints left by typing on the keyboard had vanished, and her hands appeared as if sculpted from white jade, both soft and imbued with a lustrous sheen. Observing Long Lily in this state, Wang Yu made a firm decision. Although it seemed somewhat extravagant, he resolved that for the sake of his own happiness, he would earn back any lost points later. However, the youth elixir must be a standard accessory, a necessity for every girlfriend. Not for any other reason, but solely for his own delight. Chapter 444. A visit with fingers so tender he could hardly fathom the delicacy of her other attributes. Her feet might truly resemble jade. Wang Yu felt an eager anticipation, curious to witness the transformations that would occur after consuming the youth elixir. At this moment, Long Lily initiated a tender kiss, her lips enveloping Wang Yu's. Her eyes were wide with mischief, reflecting her delight at his surprised expression. Her small hands roamed playfully over his body, igniting a fervor within him. As he deepened the kiss by grasping her nape, the skin he touched felt smoother than silk. Perhaps it was merely an illusion, but Long Lily's fragrance seemed increasingly enchanting. Wang Yu found himself momentarily lost in a whirlwind of emotions, his heart racing, captivated by her every smile and frown, ensnared in this gentle paradise. At 5:30 in the afternoon, the workday concluded punctually. Wang Yu and Long Lily, their fingers intertwined, emerged from the office. Throughout the afternoon, they had been contemplating the changes in their bodies post-consumption of the youth elixir. Remarkably, the signs of their labor had vanished without a trace. Their skin had become fair and delicate, and Wang Yu was utterly enamored with the system, marveling at how affordably he could procure such effective elixirs. Were it not for the fact that the effects of the youth elixir did not stack, he would have wanted Long Lily to consume several more. As the workday ended, employees busily gathered their belongings to leave. Upon seeing their boss and secretary, Long Lily, emerge hand in hand, a collective smile of delight spread across the office. This scene was undeniably sweet. Wang Yu's presence seemed to brighten Long Lily's demeanor, her usual icy facade replaced by a radiant smile, enhancing her beauty and grace significantly. Working at Whale Capital was indeed a dream, with benefits that surpassed industry standards, not to mention the chance to behold the nation's beloved prince, Wang Yu. It felt utterly worthwhile. Long Lily's cheeks flushed with shyness as she pressed closely against Wang Yu and stepped outside. Stealing a glance, her heart brimmed with sweetness. She gently pinched his palm with her fingertips, unable to suppress a radiant smile, her eyes curving like crescent moons, filled with a brilliance surpassing sunlight. Amidst the respectful murmurs of the employees, the pair exited the company. In the dimly lit street below, a Rolls-Royce Cullinan awaited at the entrance, its presence commanding. As Wang Yu emerged, the driver opened the door with a courteous gesture. Accompanied by Long Lily, Wang Yu gracefully entered the rear seat. Peering out of the window, Long Lily furrowed her brow, inquiring, why hasn't Li Kai come down yet? At that moment, Wang Yu's gaze caught sight of Li Kai, who was hurrying towards them. Upon reaching the Rolls-Royce, Wang Yu lowered the window and greeted him with a warm smile. Get in. No, Brother Wang, I think I'll drive my own car. Otherwise, I'll have to take the subway to work tomorrow, Li Kai replied, scratching his head with a sheepish grin. All right, drive ahead and lead the way, Wang Yu acquiesced, not pressing the matter further. Shortly after, Li Kai arrived in a Volkswagen, honking the horn as he set off ahead. The Shadow pressed the accelerator, effortlessly keeping pace. The engine of the Rolls-Royce purred softly as the vehicle glided through traffic like a poised black fish, adjusting its speed in harmony with Li Kai's car. The Shadow's grip on the steering wheel was steady as a rock, deftly navigating the massive vehicle through the bustling evening rush, maintaining an impeccable distance, close enough to stay connected, yet far enough to avoid intrusion from other vehicles. The street lamps flickered to life, casting vibrant hues upon the flowing traffic. Buses were crammed like sardines in a can, their advertisements blurring into obscurity as they moved. Delivery riders zipped between the vehicles, the enticing aroma of food wafting from their baskets. Suddenly, the traffic lights turned red, bringing the long line of cars to a halt. The cacophony of engines created a resonating hum, interwoven with the distant calls of vendors on the overpass, infusing the city with its lively spirit. The congestion stirred a sense of irritation. Even the majestic Rolls-Royce Cullinan was not spared from the crawl of the massive traffic. They could only inch forward slowly. After more than an hour, they arrived in Songjiang district, where the roads appeared somewhat more navigable. Eventually, the vehicle pulled into a slightly dilapidated neighborhood. The security guard at the entrance, initially poised to prevent the unfamiliar vehicle from entering, paused upon seeing the license plate. He sat back down, fanning himself, his gaze lingering on Li Kai's retreating figure, filled with astonishment. Could this young man have such powerful connections, arriving in a Rolls-Royce? The car came to a stop at the entrance of a corridor, where a gentle-looking woman, pale-faced, stood with a small girl. The little girl, her hair styled in two playful pigtails adorned with pink bows, bounded forward like a little cannonball, colliding with Wang Yu's leg, her chubby arms wrapping around him tightly. Handsome brother, you finally made it. Meng Meng has missed you so much. Her sweet, innocent voice, wrapped in the evening breeze, filled his ears, her rosy cheeks shining brightly, her eyes twinkling like two fallen stars. I asked Daddy every day when you would come, and he always says you were busy. Wang Yu's lips curled into a faint smile as he bent down, intending to pat her head. However, as his fingertips just grazed her braids, she playfully nudged closer to him on tiptoe, her small nose sniffing at his pant leg. Suddenly she exclaimed, "Big brother, you smell delightful, even more fragrant than my mother's braised pork soup." Long Lily covered her mouth, a smile appearing on her face as she watched this adorable girl. Yinzi came running from behind, giggling, with specks of flour dusting her clothes, evidently having just been busy in the kitchen. Meng Meng, don't be so familiar. Quickly let go of President Wang. She greeted, "Hello, President Wang, Secretary Long. This is my wife, Chun Yin." Li Kai also stepped out of the car and approached. Chun Yin adjusted his slightly wrinkled shirt. "Let us head upstairs first." "All right," Wang Yu replied with a smile, scooping Meng Meng into his arms as they ascended. Meng Meng responded happily. The motion-activated lights in the corridor flickered to life with their footsteps. Under the dim yellow glow, her little feet kicked against the steps as she focused on tugging at his buttons, her sweet voice counting, 1, 2. Big brother's buttons are golden, just like little stars. Chun Yin led the way, turning back every couple of steps to remind, "Take it slow. The lights in this staircase are quite old and dim." "Brother Wang, terribly sorry. I intended for us to dine out," Li Kai said, a hint of awkwardness on his face. "It's all right. It's all the same." Wang Yu reassured him with a smile. Soon, they reached the 5th floor. Indeed, there was no elevator, merely an old residential complex. Chun Yin retrieved her keys and opened the door. As the door cracked open, a waft of fragrant dishes rushed out. "President Wang, please come in. It's a bit cramped, so I hope you won't mind," Chun Yin said apologetically, stepping aside as she searched for the light switch behind the door. The energy-saving bulb overhead flickered to life, bathing the entire room in a warm, golden glow. Chapter 445. Living off his wife's generosity. The room was indeed modest, with most of the furniture appearing aged. The only new items were the television and the microwave in the kitchen. On the walls were some watercolor drawings, crooked little figures holding hands, beside which were written the words Dad and Mom in pinyin. The frame was crafted by Li Kai from cardboard, its edges still adorned with transparent tape. Seeing this, A smile immediately brightened Wang Yu's face. This little home, although somewhat shabby, radiated warmth and intimacy. Unlike his own residence, whether in his home or in the bustling metropolis, which felt empty and devoid of life, seemingly luxurious yet filled with opulence. It was a dream unattainable for ordinary folk. Yet over time, such extravagance became mundane. The most striking feature was the foldable dining table at the center of the living room, already set with 5 dishes and a soup: braised pork ribs, steamed mandarin fish, and snow vegetable soup with yellow croaker. A glass jar nearby held a few sprigs of carnations. Their petals were slightly wilted, yet rejuvenated by the clear water, suggesting that these flowers were a regular presence in the home, not a special preparation for the occasion. As they gathered around the dining table, Chun Yin and Li Kai cast apologetic glances at Wang Yu, fearful that he might dislike the humble meal laid out before him. The young Meng Meng, still innocent and naive, sat upon a charming chair, offering Wang Yu a piece of braised pork rib as if presenting a treasure. Wang Yu graciously accepted, showing no signs of disdain for this simple yet delectable dish, despite having indulged in gourmet delicacies for several months as a young heir. Instead, he savored it heartily. Li Kai, aware of Wang Yu's origins from Sichuan, had specially requested his wife to prepare a few dishes from Sichuan cuisine, slightly spicy to ensure Wang Yu felt at home. Seated beside Wang Yu, Long Lily took dainty bites, her lovely eyes occasionally glancing at him with a hint of surprise. This marked her first encounter with the elite Wang Yu dining in such a setting, altering her perceptions. Coming from a modest background, she found herself more out of place in upscale restaurants, thus had no objections. Li Kai and Chun Yin attentively observed their expressions, finally feeling at ease. Li Kai presented a bottle of Maotai, specifically purchased for the occasion, and respectfully poured a glass for Wang Yu. Raising his cup, Wang Yu clinked it with Li Kai's and downed the contents in one swift motion. After a few drinks, Li Kai's face flushed, and the conversation flowed naturally as he recounted events following Yin Zi's illness. Chun Yin earnestly expressed her gratitude to Wang Yu, stating that had it not been for his intervention, she would have hastily consumed white liquor to show her appreciation. Recently recovered from a serious illness, her body remained frail. Wang Yu, concerned, watched as she drank the potent liquor. Seizing the moment, Li Kai insisted on repaying Wang Yu. Chun Yin presented a bank card, offering it to Wang Yu with both hands, hoping he would accept it. To Wang Yu's astonishment, the card contained 300,000 yuan. With Li Kai's family facing continuous health issues, including Chun Yin's surgery expenses, he wondered how such an amount could have been amassed in just a few months. Li Kai, noticing Wang Yu's confusion, clarified, "You may find it amusing, but recently, Yanzi has been searching for part-time work online to help with household expenses. After much searching, she found nothing suitable, mostly courses to buy or outright scams. Desperate, she decided to try her hand at short videos. Since we both enjoy movies, she edited some popular film clips and posted them online, unexpectedly gaining significant popularity. Over this time, she has amassed over 2 million followers, with most of this money being earned by her. Please accept it." Li Kai chuckled. "Perhaps soon, I will be living off my wife's earnings." Chun Yin shot him with a disapproving glance, but refrained from countering his jest about living off her. It was clear that Li Kai was merely joking. He would not abandon his career for domestic life. Even if he genuinely wished to, she would willingly support him. The fact that she had been granted a second chance at life was attributed to the unwavering support of Li Kai and Meng Meng, which had touched the heavens, leading to Wang Yu's assistance. The serendipity of gaining a few fans and earning money to contribute to their small household filled her with satisfaction. Now it all made sense to Wang Yu, understanding the origins of the funds within the bank card. Is this what one might call a turn of fate? Wang Yu smiled gently, returning the bank card without any intention of claiming the 300,000. Li Kai, sensing urgency, urged her to keep the money for a better quality of life, suggesting that life in such a place could hardly be as comfortable as before. Wang Yu replied with a smile, stating that now that she had gained a bit of wealth, she could treat her family better and save for a more pleasant living environment. Chun Yin, eager to speak, was cut off by Wang Yu. "If you wish to repay my kindness, there's a way." At this, Li Kai's spirits lifted. Wang Yu continued, "The company's development will accelerate. Just do your best for the company as a form of gratitude." Upon hearing this, Li Kai sprang to his feet, raising his glass, his eyes glistening with emotion. "Brother Wang, I shall remember your words for a lifetime. Rest assured, I will be the first to face any challenges ahead without hesitation. I may not articulate my feelings well, but my intentions are in this drink." With that, he downed 3 glasses in quick succession, his face flushed, clearly feeling the effects of a liquor. Chun Yin, her eyes already reddened, nervously crumpled her bank card in her hand, tugging at Li Kai's sleeve while discreetly wiping away her tears. Mom, don't cry. Mingming loves you. Mingming's understanding demeanor caused Chun Yin's tears to flow uncontrollably, and she embraced her daughter tightly. Regaining her composure, she wiped her tears and offered Wang Yu an apologetic smile. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. It's nothing, Wang Yu replied, observing the couple before him, suddenly feeling a warmth in his glass. Long Lily looked at little Mingming nestled in Chun Yan's arms, her face adorned with a smile. Seizing the moment, Mingming wriggled free from her mother's embrace and scampered to Wang Yu, tiptoeing to place a piece of rib in his bowl, exclaiming, "Handsome brother, eat this. It's the most delicious meat." "Thank you, Mingming," Wang Yu chuckled, playfully pinching her adorable cheek. Their meal lasted nearly an hour, and Wang Yu felt quite pleased. Due to the presence of the child, he refrained from drinking excessively with Li Kai, which allowed for a quicker conclusion to the gathering. After dinner, Wang Yu chose not to intrude further. After a brief pause, Shadow arrived with some supplements and items favored by little girls, intended for Chun Yin and Mingming. Li Kai, however, promptly declined, unwilling to accept any gifts. Yet, he could not resist Mingming's affection for the Barbie doll, and reluctantly accepted. Originally, Wang Yu had planned to bring these items himself, but due to delays earlier in the afternoon, he had arrived empty-handed. Following Wang Yu's instructions, Shadow had purchased them at a nearby mall after arriving. Thankfully, they made it back in time to present them after dinner. Soon after, Wang Yu bid farewell. Although Mingming felt a sense of loss, she obediently refrained from crying. Li Kai and Chun Yin accompanied Mingming downstairs, and just before Wang Yu got in his car, he caught sight of Mingming's forlorn expression, which elicited a soft chuckle from him. It is uncertain whether it is the effect of overwhelming charm, but the little child, Mingming, harbors an excessive fondness for him, to the extent that one could deem her family. In the future, should you long for your brother, simply accompany your father to the company. Wang Yu finished speaking, and Li Kai instinctively remarked, "Wang Gu, how can this be? How could a little child like Mingming come to the company? Wouldn't that disrupt your work?" "It's nothing," Wang Yu replied. Mingming gazed at him with hopeful eyes, and upon hearing his words, her face instantly blossomed into a smile. "Goodbye, little Mingming." Long Lily waved from the car with a smile. Soon, the Rolls-Royce Cullinan sped away, quickly reaching the outskirts of the community, heading toward the city center. It was now 8 o'clock in the evening, and the sky had already succumbed to the night. However, the skyline of the magical city shimmered with neon lights, painting the night sky in a riot of colors. The towering skyscrapers of Lujiazui pierced the clouds, their glass facades reflecting the flowing lights. The orb of the Oriental Pearl Tower flickered in the night, resembling a diamond necklace adorning a swan's neck, changing colors every few seconds, casting a kaleidoscope of hues upon the river. The streets were bustling with traffic, the headlights converging into two rushing rivers of light, pulsating forward in a dance of brightness and darkness. Inside the vehicle, there was a palpable tranquility. This was the magical city. While it appeared sparsely populated during the day, the nights brought forth a vibrant crowd. Long Lily gazed out the window, her eyes filled with wonder. Although she had been here for quite some time, she couldn't help but marvel at the allure of this first-tier metropolis, a charm that was far beyond what Jean City could compare to. Yet, if given the choice, Long Lily would unhesitatingly opt to return to Jean City. Perhaps Jean City lacked some of the opulence, but its warmth and human touch resonated more with her. Life there felt considerably more relaxed, unlike here, where pedestrians were perpetually in a rush. Wang Yu gently took her hand, smiling as he said, "This is the night of the magical city, forever vibrant. It may seem delightful, but it is all a hustle for survival. They are all pitiable souls." Long Lily nodded in agreement. The return journey was somewhat shorter, as the traffic had thinned considerably. As they approached 9 o'clock, the car arrived at Zhongliang Haijing No. 1. After Long Lily alighted, she went upstairs to rest, knowing that Wang Yu had matters to attend to and refrained from lingering. Wang Yu glanced at the time, then provided Shadow with an address, and the car resumed its journey toward Suwei District. He had not forgotten about the dinner engagement that evening. He simply delayed it slightly, first heading to Li Kai's residence before proceeding. Wang Yu sat confidently in the back seat of the Rolls-Royce Cullinan, fingers interlaced, with an inscrutable expression. This Xiao Xue was intriguing. She was not asking for a million, but merely desired to dine with him. How amusing indeed, with Shadow present. Wang Yu felt untroubled by any potential tricks, and he even harbored a subtle sense of anticipation. Upon reflecting on this mindset, Wang Yu could only conclude, this may exemplify a typical mindset driven by ambition, where a murderous intent brews, prompting one to proactively engage with the unknown. Half an hour later, the vehicle came to a halt in front of a private dining establishment, nestled in a tranquil locale, devoid of the usual clamor. Upon disembarking, Wang Yu gazed upwards as two crimson wooden doors swung open, revealing a door knocker shaped like a bronze beast clutching a circular ring, an unmistakable touch of elegance. Inside, there were no glaring signboards. Rather, the shadow wall was entwined with verdant vines, which concealed lanterns that emitted a warm yellow glow through paper shades, casting a golden hue upon the flagstone path. A lady adorned in a qipao, upon noticing Wang Yu's arrival, brightened momentarily, recognizing his identity. Yet, she maintained a commendable composure, refraining from exclamations that would attract attention. With a graceful stride, she approached, showcasing her exquisite figure, and timidly inquired whether Wang Yu had a reservation. After informing her of a pre-booked private room arranged by a friend, she guided him inward. Along the way, she exchanged flirtatious glances with him, subtly initiating conversation. Wang Yu, occasionally nodding, surveyed his surroundings. He remained uncertain about the culinary delights of this establishment, aptly named Benwei Xiaozhu, but noted that it exclusively offered private rooms, eschewing the typical dining hall. Despite the bustling patronage, the corridor outside the rooms was enveloped in an unexpected serenity, clearly emphasizing its privacy. Moments latte. A server escorted Wang Yu to a quaint ancient structure adjacent to a pond, then took their leave. Wang Yu pushed the door open and stepped inside, while the shadow lingered at the threshold. Upon entering, he was instantly taken aback, overlooking the exquisite decor and the elegant lotus flowers and koi outside. His attention was drawn to a somewhat familiar figure, exclaiming, "How could it be you? A long time no see, Junior." Zhao Siyuan responded with a playful grin. Wang Yu took a seat opposite her, shaking his head in disbelief. "I truly did not expect you to be the little snow." "Indeed, surprising, isn't it?" Zhao Siyuan flashed a radiant smile, revealing her pearly white teeth, rendering Wang Yu momentarily speechless. At that instant, the term brilliant white teeth seemed to materialize in her visage. He could not help but gaze at this senior with newfound clarity. Name: Zhao Siyuan, age, 21, height, 175 centimeters, charm, 96, physique, 95, affection level, 71, skills, advanced Sanda, intermediate Wing Chun, advanced accounting. Having not seen her for a while, he noted her martial prowess had evidently improved. Her Wing Chun skills had reached an advanced level. Observing the fair-skinned, delicately featured young woman before him with toned arms, a peculiar expression crossed Wang Yu's face. Zhao Siyuan appeared gentle in nature, yet one could not help but wonder if she concealed a fierce spirit beneath. After all, which girl would dedicate herself to martial arts training? With both Sanda and Wing Chun at an advanced level, particularly as a university student, it was no wonder he found himself pondering. Zhao Siyuan rested her chin on one hand, her fingertips gently tracing circles along the rim of the Celadon teacup. The Biluacun tea within still exuded warmth, rendering the smile in her eyes increasingly elusive. "Your status is quite extraordinary, Junior. I've seen your presence online quite a bit lately." "Don't mention it." Wang Yu replied with a sigh. "Ever since I became popular on the internet, I haven't had a moment's peace when I step outside. I recall you were always juggling part-time jobs. Why not accept the 1 million? It was a stroke of luck you earned," Zhao Siyuan remarked. "Had I known it was you, I would have treated you to a meal." Feeling somewhat embarrassed, Zhao Siyuan playfully stuck out her tongue. "It was merely a joke from the live stream. How could I possibly accept your money? Just give me your bank account number. You should really take it," Wang Yu insisted, pulling out his phone to reveal his Feixin QR code, smiling as he said, "Let us add each other as friends first. I want to be shy when it comes to inviting you out for meals later. It would be a waste of an opportunity otherwise." Chapter 447. A true man never eats oysters. "You seem to forget things easily. You've known my phone number for ages, yet you have not added me on WeChat." Zhao Siyuan teased, gladly accepting Wang Yu's request. She took out her phone and added him on Feixin, casting a playful glance at his profile picture. However, she refrained from sending her bank account details. Wang Yu scratched his nose, offering an awkward smile. "I forgot." He slowly set his phone down, choosing not to pursue the matter further. After all, if she didn't want it, he couldn't very well force her to accept it. He wasn't in a position to squander money frivolously. Soon, the dining room was filled with an array of exquisite dishes, beautifully presented and undoubtedly costly, casting doubt on how a student like Zhao Siyuan could afford such lavish meals. Nonetheless, Wang Yu was unreserved, having dined at Li Kai's home. He had not eaten to his fill, and now he eagerly picked up his chopsticks, relishing the feast. Zhao Siyuan waited for him, not yet having touched her meal. and now feeling a bit hungry herself. Observing her expression, Wang Yu felt a pang of guilt, apologizing. I'm truly sorry. I had initially promised to arrive by 8, but unfortunately, I was delayed by some unexpected matters. As he poured wine for both of them, he added, to express my apologies, I shall drink first. Zhao Xiyun quickly raised her hand to stop him, her fingertips inadvertently brushing against his warm skin, causing her to recoil, as if burned, her ears flushing a delicate red. Wang Xiao, I just arrived as well. It hasn't been long. Besides, I truly appreciate you taking the time. It is I who should toast to you. With that, she tilted her head back and took a small sip, the liquid sliding down her throat, leaving a faint tang, while her gaze inadvertently drifted towards Wang Yu's handsome visage. You may call me by my name, or simply refer to me as Junior. Wang Yu smiled. We have known each other for quite some time now. There is no need for such formality. Zhao Xiyun gazed into his eyes for a moment before breaking into a radiant smile. Then it settled. Junior? Senior? Wang Yu chuckled. The two exchanged amused glances before bursting into hearty laughter. It is uncertain who previously mentioned reaching out when free, claiming they would treat me to a meal. If it weren't for this opportunity, you might have completely forgotten about me, wouldn't you? Zhao Xian's gaze suddenly turned somewhat melancholic, her eyes directed at Wang Yu, as if he had caused her heartache. The phrase a gentleman's word is as binding as a promise, or something akin to that, was uttered by someone long ago. Indeed, with so many beautiful girls around you, it is understandable that you could forget someone as unremarkable in appearance as I. Wang Yu's expression stiffened. While the truth held some weight, the implications of her words made it feel as though he had wronged Zhao Xian. If memory serves him right, he hadn't even had the chance to act upon any ill intentions. Zhao Xian's bright eyes flicked towards Wang Yu as she casually brushed a strand of hair aside. Men are drawn to vixens. Virtuous and simple girls are often overlooked. I can understand that, she remarked. Isn't that right, Junior? I concede. Let us not dwell on this any longer, Wang Yu replied, choosing to surrender without argument. Engaging in reasoning with a girl is akin to trying to make an adversary yield in an online debate. The difficulty is exceptionally high. Let's turn the page on this matter. You must not bring it up again. Moreover, I have promised to treat you to a meal, and how could I forget? Tomorrow or the day after, whenever you find the time, I will be at your beck and call. Zhao Xian's eyes glimmered with mischief as she declared. Then it's settled. If you perform well, I shall forgive you. The melancholic air surrounding Zhao Xian dissipated instantaneously, replaced by a radiant smile reminiscent of a clear sky following a downpour. She picked up a serving chopstick and deftly selected a piece of fresh raw oyster. It was a perfectly sized specimen, the plump meat nearly overflowing from its shell, enveloped in a vibrant orange sauce that was particularly enticing. This raw oyster is exceptionally fresh. Just brought in from the coast today, Zhao Xian said, tilting her wrist slightly to place the oyster steadily in front of Wang Yu's small dish. You must try it. The texture is unique, smooth and tender, with hints of wine and garlic, devoid of any fishy taste. Wang Yu regarded the oyster before him with a peculiar expression, then glanced back at Zhao Xian. She had her hair casually tied into a high ponytail, with a few loose strands framing her face, wearing a simple white cropped shirt that accentuated her long, graceful neck. The hem of her shirt barely concealed her waist, revealing a glimpse of her toned midriff, a testament to years of martial arts training. Her defined abs and oblique muscles were clearly visible. She wore light blue, fitted wide-leg jeans that complemented her energetic demeanor, paired with white high-top canvas shoes. She wore no elaborate jewelry, save for a string of jade beads adorning her wrist, which swayed gently with her movements, adding a touch of spirited elegance to her youthful ensemble. Throughout the evening, Wang Yu sensed an unusual air about Zhao Xian, as though she harbored unspoken thoughts. Zhao Xian, with her poised demeanor, watched Wang Yu as he savored the oyster, then lifted her hand once more to serve him another piece. Wang Yu nodded, swallowing the remaining oyster in one gulp, smacking his lips as he remarked, You should eat too. Don't keep serving me, just be casual about it. Zhao Xiyun's smile widened with delight as she picked up the serving chopsticks, preparing to place another oyster onto Wang Yu's plate. No, you eat too. How about trying something else? Wang Yu responded with exasperation. It was unclear whether he was consuming oysters or if he would soon become the subject of her intentions. Confusion clouded his mind as he pondered the woman's true meaning. However, Zhao Xiyun seemed oblivious to his inner turmoil, placing an oyster onto his plate nonetheless. It's fine. I don't particularly enjoy this. You should have more. I don't enjoy them either. A real man never eats oysters, you know, Wang Yu silently scoffed. Yet he still extended his chopsticks to take a bite. As Zhao Xiyun began to eat slowly, she occasionally cast glances at Wang Yu, her eyes gleaming with amusement. Wang Yu chewed vigorously, surveying Zhao Xiyun with a mix of curiosity and intrigue. Thus far, he had come to a realization. Zhao Xiyun clearly held some interest in him. However, her gaze was unclouded, neither repelling him nor indicating a profound affection, merely a budding fondness. Yet, her attentiveness suggested she might be seeking his assistance with a matter that only he could resolve. What could it possibly be? Wang Yu found himself puzzled. Although Zhao Xiyun had been aware of his affluent background since their first encounter, she had never approached him with overt intentions. He, too, had been preoccupied with Ren Ningxiang and other women, allowing her to fade from his memory, until her unexpected reappearance today. Her overture was evidently not motivated by financial gain, at least not for trivial sums that would fail to capture her interest. After finishing the meal, Wang Yu pulled out a napkin to wipe his mouth and turned to Zhao Xiyun, his smile fading as he frowned. Now that the meal is over, you might as well state your purpose. What purpose? Zhao Xiyun's once radiant smile faltered, her speech momentarily stuttering. Realizing her expression had shifted, she tucked a stray hair behind her ear, her gaze evasive, unable to meet Wang Yu's eyes. Fine, you needn't worry about the money. The meal is finished, Wang Yu declared, rising from his seat. I shall take my leave. Until we meet again. Zhao Xiyun's eyes widened with urgency as she stood up, biting her lip. Wait. Wang Yu remained silent, casually turning away and striding towards the door. As he approached the threshold, a smile crept onto his lips. But just as his fingers brushed the doorknob, he heard Zhao Xiyun's frustrated voice behind him. Wang Yu, please wait. I have a small favor to ask. Wang Yu turned back, regarding her with a smile. I don't seem to owe you anything, do I? What benefit would I gain from helping you with your troubles? Zhao Xiyun instinctively clutched the hem of her clothing, her expression faltering as her eyes glistened with unshed tears, resembling someone who had suffered a grievance. However, in the next moment, she swallowed her words. Taking a deep breath to calm her emotions, she turned to Wang Yu once more. Shall we sit down and talk? She suggested. It shouldn't be too much to ask for a small favor from my junior. Wang Yu scoffed and pushed open the door, stepping outside. When did women gain the audacity to make demands of him? Is this how one approaches someone for a favor? Frankly, Zhao Xiyun was quite beautiful, and being his senior, they had interacted a few times, which had sparked some interest in him. Of course, this was also to fulfill his main quest. Yet, it did not imply that he would oblige every woman who approached him. He wasn't that desperate. Besides, Zhao Xiyun had turned down an offer of 10 million, indicating that her issue likely transcended mere monetary concerns, perhaps involving sums far exceeding that. If financial reasons were to be dismissed, it could only mean she had offended someone or some powerful faction, with only a flimsy connection as senior and junior. Why should Wang Yu assist her in resolving her troubles? He had too many acquaintances. Should he assist them all with their life dilemmas? What a ridiculous notion. Upon witnessing Wang Yu's indifference, disappointment flickered in Zhao Xiyun's eyes. Her lips moved as if she wished to say something further, but ultimately, she refrained. Watching him exit the private room, upon seeing Wang Yu emerge, the shadow turned to close the door behind him, inquiring, Young Master Wang, shall we head home now? Yes. Wang Yu's words had barely escaped his lips when his body froze in place, a familiar voice echoing in his mind. Ding. Daily task, initiated. Protection, daily task. There's a person of slight affection for you within the room, whose family has encountered some turmoil. Please ensure the safety of Zhao Xiyun's family within a day, or eliminate the adversaries. Completion of the task will yield points, either 30,000 or 50,000, depending on the task's fulfillment. The system's task arrived at a most opportune moment. Nevertheless, the prospect of 50,000 points was indeed enticing for Wang Yu, as the powerful attributes in the system shop were enough to make any individual covetous. As he perused the system's task, Wang Yu felt a flicker of speculation arise within him. He glanced back at the private room, feeling a twinge of awkwardness. Having exited so nonchalantly, returning now seemed somewhat incongruous with his persona. Moreover, he found himself at a loss regarding this woman. Based on the task description, her predicament was no trifling matter, and she truly managed to maintain her composure. Perhaps she could have tried to persuade him further. Who knows, he might have reconsidered. Wang Yu stared at the firmly closed door and, after several minutes of contemplation, sighed. For now, I won't return. You wait for me outside. Understood. Wang Yu grasped the door of the private room and, after a moment's thought, added, There may be dangers around. Stay vigilant. Received. The shadow's gaze sharpened instantly, not questioning Wang Yu's words. In that moment, his eyes, keen as a hawk's, scanned the surroundings. He took out his phone and notified Dark Owl. The atmosphere in the private room grew quiet, and the sound of Wang Yu pushing the door open felt somewhat jarring. Zhao Siyuan sat on the nearby sofa, her eyes swollen with tears. Upon seeing Wang Yu enter, she hurriedly wiped away the remnants of her sorrow. "What are you back for? Did you not leave?" Wang Yu casually grabbed a half-finished bottle of red wine from the dining table and took a seat beside her, indulging himself in the wine's richness. Given his current constitution, alcohol held no sway over him, allowing him to savor its flavor without concern for the repercussions. He glanced at Zhao Siyuan, who was struggling to regain her composure and suppress her sobs, and said in a nonchalant tone, "Go on, tell me what happened. Considering you are my senior, I might be inclined to assist you if my mood permits." Zhao Siyuan hesitated to respond at first, feeling quite vexed at having revealed such vulnerability in front of Wang Yu, unsure of how to articulate her thoughts. Wang Yu made no effort to rush her. Instead, he retrieved a platter of roasted goose from the dining table, using it as a companion to his wine as he began to eat. Time passed, and eventually, Zhao Siyuan's fragmented voice broke the silence. The Zhao family originally hails from the ancient martial arts lineage of Suzhou, a legacy that dates back to the Republic of China era. My great-grandfather was a figure forged by the tumultuous times. In that chaotic era, he lost his family and was left to navigate the world alone. Understanding that the devastation was wrought by the Japanese, he rallied a group to resist their atrocities. By a twist of fate, he met the contemporary master of Wing Chun, who, recognizing my great-grandfather's noble spirit and unwavering resolve against the Japanese, imparted the art of Wing Chun to him without regard for sectarian boundaries. My great-grandfather did not disappoint. While leading his troops against the invaders, he diligently honed his Wing Chun skills. Although he did not train from a young age, his exceptional innate talent and indomitable will, combined with the trials of battle, allowed him to reach a remarkable level of mastery in just a few years, a level that Wang Yu could perceive with his true eye. Later, my great-grandfather joined the revolutionary forces, and once the Japanese were expelled and the motherland restored, the turbulence of his emotions led him to sense the presence of turbid energy, ultimately becoming a formidable practitioner of the turbid Qi realm. After years on the battlefield, he yearned for a tranquil life, relinquishing his official duties and returning to his homeland. During the late 1980s and early 1990s, the Zhao family enjoyed a period of prosperity, and by the time it reached my generation, the family remained relatively stable. To outsiders, we were still viewed as an enigmatic martial arts clan. Although my great-grandfather had passed many years ago, my grandfather, upon reaching 60, also achieved the status of a turbid Qi warrior. However, this fortune was short-lived. A week ago, my grandfather, Zhao Chongshan, returned home gravely injured and fell into a deep unconsciousness. After awakening 3 days ago, his breath was faint, indicating serious wounds. He insisted that all family members immediately set aside their affairs and return home overnight. Initially, the family dismissed his concerns as an overreaction, only to later discover that he had unknowingly offended a sinister faction during his travels. It seems that they are now seeking vengeance. Zhao Siyuan initially intended to return, but serendipitously encountered Wang Yu online and fortuitously guessed the answer, prompting her to seek his assistance. She aspired to leverage the Wang family's influence to safeguard the Zhao family's security. Chapter 449. Can we negotiate different terms? Wang Yu finally grasped the entirety of the situation. It was no wonder that the system assigned such a plethora of points for the task. Protection for 30,000, elimination for 50,000. The arrangement was indeed quite explicit. He rhythmically tapped his fingers on the table, turning to Zhao Siyuan and inquiring, what level of strength does the opponent possess? Perhaps a third-tier practitioner of the turbid Qi realm, Zhao Siyuan admitted without reservation, glancing at him timidly as she recounted what she knew. Wang Yu's brow furrowed deeply as he reclined on the sofa, his expression stark. Both Shadow and Darkhawk were merely novices at the first tier of the turbid Qi realm. To resolve this matter, it would likely necessitate calling upon his grandfather to send someone once again. Zhang Zhenren was also a commendable option, based on their previous interaction. Enlisting his aid should be feasible. However, whether it was his grandfather seeking assistance or Zhang Zhenren, a third-tier practitioner, intervening, there would be a requisite price to pay. Was it truly worth it to assist Zhao Siyuan? If you are unwilling, then it is of no consequence, Wang Yu remarked. Seeing his furrowed brow, Zhao Siyuan hurriedly clarified. Such practitioners were inherently rare, and while Wang Yu might hail from an extraordinary lineage, she surmised he likely had no effective means to confront such a formidable opponent. Wang Yu replied, a third-tier practitioner of the turbid Qi realm poses a certain challenge. Setting that aside, I am rather curious as to why you believe a mere ordinary person like myself could resolve issues within your realm of cultivation. I merely observed your live broadcast from the deserted island, and sensed that you and your bodyguard were not ordinary, Zhao Siyun explained. There was one detail she refrained from disclosing. Initially, when she encountered Wang Yu in the shopping mall, he was simply an ordinary individual, handsome and affluent, yet nothing particularly extraordinary. As a sales assistant, she was merely passing the time at work. While her family's wealth may not have rivaled his, they still possessed assets in the hundreds of millions. Thus, Wang Yu's extravagant spending had not compelled her to approach him. Yet upon their subsequent meeting, he had transformed into a practitioner of human limits. She was unaware of his exact strength, but the instinct of an ancient martial artist allowed her to sense the formidable nature of Wang Yu. Achieving such prowess in a brief span of time was indeed rare. At least, Zhao Siyun had never encountered such a prodigy. Moreover, he was accompanied by Shadow and Dark Hawk as his bodyguards. The videos they had shown to her grandfather explicitly indicated their status as practitioners of the turbid Qi realm. Shadow and Dark Hawk, as first-tier practitioners, were paramount figures wherever they went, yet before Wang Yu, they merely served as bodyguards. Furthermore, Wang Yu was widely recognized as a true scion of wealth, which underscored the formidable nature of his lineage. After contemplating the information he had gathered and assessing the risks, Wang Yu concluded that while the opponent was indeed a third-tier practitioner of the turbid Qi realm, there were still means to address the challenge. As he contemplated this, a subtle relaxation spread across his brow, and he spoke softly. I can assist you. Really? I cannot thank you enough. Upon hearing his words, Zhao Siyun finally allowed a radiant smile to bloom on her face, eagerly responding. Do not rejoice prematurely. Wang Yu cast a faint glance her way and continued. You are aware of the formidable nature of the practitioners of the turbid Qi realm. I am also taking a risk to aid you. Shouldn't you be prepared to pay a price? What? Zhao Siyun's smile froze, her expression becoming vacant. For instance, your body? Wang Yu merely gazed at her, a hint of amusement in his eyes, as he lifted her chin with his fingers. If all went according to plan, the points gained from Zhao Siyun would be sufficient to exchange for that particular item. Perhaps there would be no need to involve outsiders, as he could resolve the issue with the so-called strong practitioners of the turbid Qi realm himself. It now rested upon whether Zhao Siyun could comprehend the situation. Zhao Siyun looked at Wang Yu, her smile gradually shifting to awkwardness, a faint blush rising to her cheeks. They were both adults, and the material desires of modern society had afforded her some understanding of matters between men and women. She was not the naive girl she once was. Many suitors pursued her, a plethora of affluent second-generation heirs among them. Even heirs from ancient martial arts families had attempted to court her, all of whom she had turned down. However, she held a favorable impression of Wang Yu. Otherwise, she would not have willingly provided her contact information at the outset. His handsome visage, prominent nose, and chiseled jawline, coupled with a demeanor that exuded an air of aloofness and nonchalance, made him resemble a male deity stepped straight out of comic. It was difficult not to feel her heart flutter. Zhao Siyun was no exception to the whims of youthful affection. Yet, Wang Yu had consistently failed to reach out to her, and the parade of women surrounding him had ignited her frustration. Initially, she had resolved never to acknowledge him again, but now she found herself seeking his assistance. She had anticipated his possible reactions, though she had not expected him to be so forthright. Could he not be a tad more tactful? Observing Wang Yu's affluent demeanor, Zhao Siyun clenched her teeth and tightened her fists. She was no delicate flower. She possessed both strength and means. For now, she would endure, waiting for the opportune moment to settle the score with him. All those other women, those vixens, could take their leave. Wang Yu was meant to belong solely to her. Suppressing her indignation, Zhao Siyun revealed a bashful, timid expression as she spoke. Could we possibly negotiate different terms? I have wealth. I can offer you whatever sum you desire. Money is not an issue for me. And what if the Zhao family were to serve you? Although my grandfather is currently unwell, our household is replete with ancient martial artists, more than capable of clearing away some troubles for you. What use is a mere ant like those of the turbid Qi realm? Wang Yu scoffed. Observing Wang Yu's infuriating demeanor, Zhao Siyun longed to strike him with a fist. But after a moment, she managed to suppress her mounting rage. Yet, her eyes still glinted with indignation. Was it truly so simple to let Wang Yu benefit from her? Would that not diminish her standing in the future? Even if she harbored feelings for Wang Yu, should not romance commence with a date? What is the meaning of desiring immediate results? Akkad, if you are unwilling to agree, I can depart at once, and I shall keep tonight's events to myself. Wang Yu issued his ultimatum, preparing to rise and turn away once more. Zhao Siyuan, in a flurry of urgency, called out to him. Under Wang Yu's piercing gaze, Zhao Siyuan stammered, unable to articulate a single word. Her cheeks flushed, though it was unclear whether from anger or shyness. The sight elicited a laugh from Wang Yu, who reached out to encircle her lithe waist, drawing her closer. Zhao Siyuan, taken aback, instinctively threw a punch toward his face. With a light chuckle, Wang Yu's wrist coiled around her forearm like a serpent. His fingertips deliberately brushed against the tender flesh within the crook of her elbow, applying just enough pressure to redirect her fist toward his shoulder, while his other hand slid down to her nape, pressing down with an irresistible force. Chapter 450. The car space is too confined. Zhao Siyuan's nose unexpectedly collided with his collarbone, her breath instantly filled with his scent. Her fist remained suspended in midair, yet his grip on her waist tightened. Through the thin fabric of her clothing, she could distinctly feel the warmth of his palm. You certainly have a temper. Wang Yu's voice brushed past her ear, his warm breath causing the hairs on the back of her neck to stand on end. He suddenly released his hold, instead seizing her fist and bending her wrist behind her back, compelling her to arch her chest backward until her back met the cool surface of the glass cabinet. The chill of the glass seeped through her clothes, creating a bizarre contrast with the heat radiating from the man in front of her. Zhao Siyuan's attire was slightly pushed upward, revealing her fair waist. She struggled fiercely, but Wang Yu's free hand gently cradled her nape, his fingertips gliding over her heated earlobe, minimizing her attempts to resist. With a hint of amusement dancing at the corners of his mouth, Wang Yu leaned closer to Zhao Siyuan's ear, whispering softly, "Isn't it a tad late to be thinking of escaping now?" "Let me go," Zhao Siyuan murmured, her face aflame, unable to meet Wang Yu's gaze. In this moment, she appeared charmingly delicate. The typically poised Zhao Siyuan now embodied the demeanor of a modest woman. Clearly, when faced with her beloved, even the strongest of women can falter. Wang Yu's eyes sparkled with mischief as he gradually inched closer to her cheek, prompting Zhao Siyuan to instinctively shut her eyes, just as anticipated. Wang Yu pressed his lips against hers, stealing her first kiss. In an instant, Zhao Siyuan's mind was enveloped in a haze. It was but a fleeting moment, akin to a jolt of electricity coursing through her entire being, causing her to shudder. She instinctively wished to retreat, yet her back was already pressed against the frigid glass, leaving no room to withdraw. Her stiff body gradually succumbed to weakness, rendering her utterly powerless against Wang Yu's advances, indistinguishable from any ordinary girl. The wrist held tightly by Wang Yu offered a token resistance, yet was grasped even more firmly, a force imbued with an undeniable dominance, tempered by just the right amount of gentleness, preventing injury while rendering escape impossible. Zhao Siyuan found herself entranced in this earthly paradise. His extraordinary physical prowess bestowed upon him an unparalleled control over his body, leaving him unperturbed by the kiss that might have quickened her breath. As Wang Yu's hand began to glide downward, Zhao Siyuan instinctively clutched the man before her. At a crucial moment, she suddenly regained her senses, halting Wang Yu's advance. "Wait a moment, not here, please." "Very well." Wang Yu released Zhao Siyuan, who felt as pliable as a puddle of mud, refraining from any insistence. After a brief respite, he took her hand, guiding her out of the private room. Young Master Wang, an unseen figure, and Xiao, caught sight of Zhao Siyuan nestled beside Wang Yu, her cheeks aflame, and bowed slightly. "We are leaving for Tianmu Palace." "Yes." The expenses for the meal had already been settled by Zhao Siyuan prior to Wang Yu's arrival. The group proceeded towards the exit of Benwei Xiaozhu. The server who had escorted Wang Yu in noticed his silhouette, her eyes lighting up with recognition, eager to greet him. However, her steps faltered as she noticed Zhao Siyuan beside him. Any lingering thoughts dissipated instantly. With a sigh, she respectfully announced, "Welcome back to Benwei Xiaozhu." Once Wang Yu and Zhao Siyuan settled into the car, and Xiao took his place in the passenger seat, and the driver pressed the accelerator, smoothly steering the Rolls-Royce Cullinan towards Tianmu Palace. Inside the dimly lit vehicle, after activating the soundproof barrier, the confined space was left solely for Wang Yu and Zhao Siyuan. "Are you still afraid of me?" Wang Yu inquired. Zhao Siyuan was momentarily startled, attempting to extricate herself from his embrace. Yet, with a slight exertion, Wang Yu restrained her delicate form. "Who is afraid of you? It's merely that the space in the car is so confined. It feels a tad stifling," Zhao Siyuan countered, the blush on her cheeks beginning to fade. "Since you are not afraid of me, why are you sitting so far away?" Zhao Suan huffed lightly before willingly enveloping Wang Yu's robust frame, her face still tinged with lingering warmth, burying her visage in the crook of his neck, her nose brushing against his pronounced Adam's apple. Is this close enough? Wang Yu chuckled, childish, yet quite endearing. The light streaming through the car window cast playful shadows upon her reddened eyes, bestowing upon her a charm that surpassed her previous shyness. Wang Yu grasped her chin, leaning in for another kiss, the faint aroma of red wine adding an exquisite flavor to the moment. The intensity of his masculine essence sent a shiver through her, and she quickly lifted her head, the shyness that had just begun to dissipate flaring up once more, igniting her cheeks. Senior, it is clear that you like me. Why do you refuse? Upon finishing his statement, Wang Yu took the initiative to lift Zhao Siyuan, placing her upon his lap, and once again captured her alluring lips in a kiss. Zhao Siyuan, unlike many other girls, wore no makeup and adorned herself with minimal jewelry, yet her allure remained undiminished. Her figure was exquisite, arguably the finest that Wang Yu had ever encountered. With a pronounced curvature, she embodied the most quintessential feminine silhouette. Even women who dedicated themselves to rigorous fitness regimens could scarcely compare to Zhao Siyuan's physique. Wang Yu's kiss was laden with an unmistakable intensity. He ensnared her waist firmly within his grasp, and through the delicate fabric of her attire, she could distinctly feel the warmth and strength emanating from his palm, as if he sought to meld her very essence into his being. The heat radiating from his body enveloped her thighs, rendering Zhao Siyuan weak and pliant. Her hands, once poised to resist, had unknowingly transformed into a tender embrace around his neck, her fingertips inadvertently weaving through his thick hair. They were lost in this enchanting moment until the vehicle came to a halt. A shadow outside softly reminded Wang Yu, prompting him to gradually release her. After composing themselves, Wang Yu led Zhao Siyuan out of the car and into the elevator, ascending towards the celestial pavilion. Once inside their room, an impatient Wang Yu placed her upon the bed, pressing down upon her. At that moment, Zhao Siyuan's eyes were glazed, oblivious to the world beyond. All she could perceive was the boy she cherished before her. Yet, a flicker of concern for her family's well-being lingered in her heart, prompting her to suggest, perhaps we should wait for another time? Let's resolve my family matters first, and then we can continue this later. We can discuss it tomorrow. Wang Yu's eyes blazed with a fiery intensity. The task set by the system stipulated a time frame of 1 day, implying that the Zhao family was temporarily safe. Thus, he felt no urgency. With the enchanting woman in his arms, his thoughts were consumed by the desire to possess Zhao Siyuan completely, to make her unequivocally his own. In an instant, the room was filled with the sound of rapid breaths, the sheer fabric of the curtains billowing in the night breeze, revealing the dense darkness outside. Zhao Siyuan's fingers clutched the bed linens tightly, beads of perspiration forming between her fingers. Any lingering worry for her family was ultimately quelled by the searing warmth of the man before her. Chapter 451. Upgrading the true, a sleepless night ensued. Despite being a practitioner of ancient martial arts, Zhao Siyuan found her body weary, unable to withstand Wang Yu's fervent advances, and she succumbed to a deep slumber. Ding! Congratulations, host, on successfully courting the goddess Zhao Siyuan, earning 888 points. Before Wang Yu could fully revel in his triumph, he sensed something amiss. Why had the system awarded such an abundance of points for winning over Zhao Siyuan? Previously, securing He Chaoxin had granted him only 18,000 points. What accounted for the additional 30,000? Was it due to Zhao Siyuan's inherent prowess that warranted a greater reward? With a final glance at Zhao Siyuan, who still wore a satisfied expression, he dressed and made his way to the garden. Grabbing a chilled bottle of cola from the refrigerator in the living room, he settled onto the balcony. As he took a sip, a refreshing chill coursed through his body. It was now 5 in the morning, and the streets of the city were eerily tranquil, devoid of pedestrians, with only the occasional car passing by. Wang Yu inquired of the system, why is the point allocation different this time? Ding! The points awarded for courting a goddess are determined by the level of her beauty. With a beauty score of 9,093, one could acquire 8,888 system points. A score of 9,495 would yield 18,888 points, while 9,699 would grant 48,888 points. And a perfect score of 100 would bestow a remarkable 88,888 points. Upon receiving the system's elucidation, Wang Yu came to comprehend the significance of beauty in this undertaking. He couldn't help but feel a twinge of regret. Zhao Siyuan already possessed a commendable beauty score of 96. Had he procured some beauty-enhancing elixirs from the system beforehand to elevate her score to a full 100, she could have amassed an astounding 88,000 points. Yet, such regrets were futile now. Zhao Siyuan was already his partner, and any future endeavors would have to wait for another suitable companion. Wang Yu shook his head and opened the system panel, glancing at his current total of points. Host: Wang Yu, age, 20, height, 188 centimeters, charm, 120, physique, 150 stamina, 150 attributes, double cashback, extreme physique, enhancement 1, solidification, eye of truth, joy of the machine spirit. Succubus in the world, king of games, basketball star, points 171,807. Huaxia currency, 488, 362, 665, 52,400, special item, scarecrow effect, can absorb 1 fatal blow. Note, uses remaining 0-1. Wang Yu instinctively disregarded the lengthy string of Huaxia currency, instead fixating on his points. During this period of task completion, he had accumulated a substantial 170,000 points. Having promised Zhao Siyuan to assist her with her troubles, it was only natural for Wang Yu to enhance his own capabilities. He accessed the system marketplace and first turned his attention to the attribute upgrade cards, suppressing a grimace at their current price of 6,666 points. With no promotional discounts in sight, Wang Yu purchased one without hesitation and immediately applied it to the Eye of Truth. In an instant, the attribute was enveloped in a radiant glow, which gradually dissipated after a moment. The effect of the Eye of Truth had been amplified. Wang Yu activated the Eye of Truth and raised his gaze toward the sky before him. To his dismay, it appeared unchanged from its previous state. A wave of disappointment washed over him. After his encounters with the shadows, he had grown curious about the murky energy they spoke of, yet the Eye of Truth lacked the potency to unveil it. The murky energy that wafted through the world, along with the shadows and dark hawks, including the enigmatic Zhang Zhenren he had encountered later, remained a mystery to him. The upgrade of the Eye of Truth had become imperative, but fortunately, he had ample points at his disposal. Wang Yu furrowed his brow and murmured to himself. He purchased 3 more attribute upgrade cards, deducting 19,998 points from his total. A pang of discomfort struck him, yet he persisted in applying them to the Eye of Truth. With each card used, he activated the Eye anew. After using 2 cards consecutively, he still observed no change. Wang Yu could not help but feel a tinge of regret. Could it be that the Eye of Truth was too demanding, resulting in no upgrades despite multiple attempts? Perhaps he should conserve some points for a more formidable inscription in the future? After a moment of hesitation, he grasped the last inscription upgrade card and shook his head, stating, "If this one proves ineffective, I shall have to relinquish it for now and reconsider later." Just as his words fell, the inscription upgrade card in his hand transformed into a radiant orb of light, enveloping the Eye of Truth once more. Wang Yu lifted his gaze again. In an instant, the world before him shifted dramatically. The already dark sky now bore an additional layer of gray under his scrutiny. This gray was not uniform. Upon closer examination, it revealed 5 distinct currents of murky energy swirling between heaven and earth. The energy of fate appeared somewhat delicate, akin to spider silk weaving through the textures of existence. Imbued with a cold white reminiscent of frost and snow, chilling to the core. The murky essence of all beings glistened with a filmy sheen, its gray hue interspersed with minute impurities, resembling countless covetous eyes blinking in the shadows. The energy of affliction was particularly viscous, akin to overcooked syrup, cascading in thin strands to ensnare every neck, rendering them immobile. The essence of decay resembled soiled water tainted by ink, with dark brown, fibrous sediment hidden within the gray. The most insidious was the energy of calamity, akin to tattered shrouds, their edges charred and curling, each wisp of gray resembling ashes kissed by the flames of war. Various forms of murky energy wafted from neighborhoods, villas, hospitals, and bars, slowly coalescing into a cloud that hung ominously above the heads of the populace. Much like a gathering storm. Suddenly, Wang Yu's vision darkened, and a vivid scene materialized in his mind. The energy of fate surged forth, causing grass and trees to wither visibly upon contact, and coiling around the ankles of passers-by, inducing a stoop in their gait. A little girl with a ponytail skipped joyfully past, yet the energy of fate wove through her hair, creating a dense web that infused her once clear laughter with a subtle rasp, reminiscent of a flickering candle nearing its end. The murky essence of all beings, born from greed, congregated near blood stalls and markets, reveling amidst the clinking of coins in gambling dens, each gathering reeking of sweat, copper, and the stench of decay. Wang Yu observed the numb employees on the assembly line and the affluent revelers in their villas, as the essence of all beings boiled into a froth between them, enhancing their already haggard visages with a feral grimace. The energy of affliction, tinted greenish-gray and bearing a faint, putrid scent, swelled into bulging bubbles amidst the urban cacophony. A wealthy young man, dressed in fine attire, shattered a teacup in a fit of rage. The energy of affliction surged into his heart through the veins that bulged on his forehead, instantly transforming his irritation into wrath, prompting him to slap the nearby waiter without a second thought. The murky essence flitted through the streets, buzzing in the ears of pedestrians like flies, and coalescing in their eyes into clouds of doubt. A corpulent middle-aged man gazed at a youthful, radiant girl before him, his face adorned with a benign smile. Yet his eyes flickered, uncertain, as if contemplating some sordid scheme. Chapter 452. The god of thought. Wang Yu felt as though he had undergone a cycle of rebirth. Countless images flashing through his mind in a fleeting moment, as if he had experienced the passage of a single instant or the span of millennia. He suddenly regained his senses, beads of sweat rolling down his forehead as he gasped for breath. What just transpired? Wang Yu was perplexed yet profoundly shaken. Was this the reality as they perceived it? How could it be so terrifying? Wang Yu could distinctly feel the murky energy encroaching upon him, seemingly eager to invade his body. With a mere thought, he could absorb this tainted essence, transforming into a being of the fifth realm of murky energy in an instant. Though such a transformation would invite the immediate descent of calamity, while the shadow could only sense the murky energy by chance. He had perceived it through the eye of truth, implying that he had indeed detected it. Exhaling slowly, Wang Yu closed the eye of truth. Regardless, he could not bring himself to absorb such a bizarre entity. Upon reopening his eyes, the world resumed its usual appearance. Although the air in the demon city was saturated with the scent of money, Wang Yu found it oddly pleasant. The horrifying images that had flashed in his mind had left him with a sense of psychological discomfort. Eye of truth. 4. Effect. Nothing in the world can obstruct your vision, not even extraordinary powers. After 4 enhancements, the Eye of Truth was temporarily sufficient for his needs. With 143 points remaining, it was time to seek out an entry that could elevate his strength. As Wang Yu rummaged through the marketplace, a look of delight soon illuminated his face. Entry, God of Telekinesis, Seed, 25 discount, 128, 888 points. Effect. This is an entry brimming with potential for growth. When developed to the utmost, it can grant you the power to dominate the world. Fortunately, this entry was still on sale. Had it been at its regular price, his points would have been insufficient. When you clicked to purchase, and the system deducted 128, 888 points. The effect of the God of Telekinesis entry instantly enveloped him. Wang Yu's pupils contracted to pinpricks, the whites of his eyes veined with fine crimson threads, as if 2 faint golden flames ignited deep within. This was no ordinary light, but a piercing brilliance capable of commanding the very essence of all things. The muscles at the corners of his eyes twitched as if countless invisible threads were shooting forth from his pupils, weaving a mysterious covenant with the surrounding void. A resonant tremor echoed within his skull, akin to the sound of a bell, as if a lotus seed, dormant for millennia, had suddenly burst forth from its shell. Wang Yu felt the blood coursing through his limbs surge in reverse. A peculiar force, neither true energy nor spiritual power, rose from his dantian, ascending along his spine until it coalesced at his brow into a cool, pentagram-like glow. In the next moment, his feet unexpectedly lifted off the ground. It was not the buoyancy of riding clouds, but rather as if countless invisible hands were lifting him into the air. The intricate patterns on the floor tiles appeared magnified in his gaze, each speck of dust discernible with clarity. In the half-foot gap between the soles of his shoes and the ground, the air was compressed into transparent ripples by an unseen force. As his thoughts stirred, he was carried forth like a leaf caught in the wind, silently drifting a distance of several feet to the rear. Wang Yu's fingertips twitched slightly. Instinctively, he glanced at the nearby bottle of cola, its liquid stirred by an inexplicable power, transforming into a stream that spiraled within 3 feet of his hand. As he focused on the swirling liquid at his fingertips, his concentration intensified. Suddenly, the stream exploded mid-air, morphing into a flurry of fine water arrows that splattered against the tiles, leaving a mosaic of wet marks. His gaze sharpened. A lounge chair in the garden seemed to be seized by an invisible hand, lifting off the ground with a clatter, spinning 3 times before being gently returned to its original position. This was true power. Wang Yu reveled in the peculiar energy surging within him. The pentagram at his brow glowing ever more vividly. He inhaled deeply, channeling his psychic energy entirely into himself, causing the air beneath his feet to compress abruptly, producing a thunderous crack. In an instant, he shot skyward like an arrow released from its bow, soaring to heights of several dozen meters. The wind howled past his ears, and the streets below shrank into winding lines, with the occasional car transforming into a mere moving dot. Wang Yu looked down, observing the swirling pollution hovering over the city. Yet it was kept at bay by the psychic field radiating from him. Could psychic energy truly possess the ability to repel impurities? No wonder such a seed of psychic power was so precious. He attempted to adjust his direction, and his body pivoted gracefully through the air, gliding over the rooftops below. An unprecedented exhilaration enveloped him, as if he had shed the shackles of the earth, with the expanse of heaven and earth becoming his playground. Ha ha! It was no wonder the ancients regarded flight as the ultimate pursuit. The sensation was utterly liberating. He accelerated suddenly, the sound of the wind transforming into a sharp whistle, while the vast ocean shimmered with glistening waves beneath the night sky. Moments later, Wang Yu hovered at an altitude of over 100 meters above the sea, gazing down at the surging waves. He estimated he was about 10 kilometers from the city. His thoughts stirred once more, and his psychic energy surged toward the ocean's surface. With a resounding crash, the water within a radius of several dozen meters erupted, forming a towering wall of water over 10 meters high. The spray upon the wall remained suspended under the control of his psychic force, resembling a colossal sapphire. He attempted to maneuver the water wall, and it responded as if guided by an invisible lever, slowly advancing several feet skyward before gently descending back, merging with the sea, leaving only ripples in its wake. Wang Yu focused intently on the surface of the ocean, directing his psychic energy once more. This time, rather than conjuring a colossal wave, he transformed the water within a 100-meter radius into a tranquil mirror-like surface, calming even the distant waves that approached, which would subside silently upon reaching this area. He could distinctly sense the weight of the water, each droplet trembling slightly under the influence of his psychic energy, the heavy force reflecting back to him, granting him a clearer understanding of his own strength. 100 tons. Not a bit more, not a bit less. Wang Yu was inexplicably certain of this number. It was sufficient. A faint smile graced Wang Yu's lips as his suspended body swayed slightly before transforming into a streak of light, soaring towards the celestial palace. The mental energy within him seemed to gradually flourish after his recent exertion. Upon returning home, Wang Yu felt no trace of fatigue, his smile widening. The term god of mental energy was merely a seed. It had not truly bestowed upon him divine-like powers. However, through practice and utilization, it could grow and develop, with considerable potential for advancement. Another reason Wang Yu had acquired this term was that it appeared he could use it indefinitely, his spirit showing no signs of weariness. This validated his initial conjecture. The utilization of mental energy required a consumption of mental strength. Yet Wang Yu possessed another term that ensured his body and mind remained in peak condition. This allowed him to freely wield his mental energy without restraint. It was undoubtedly the most potent and suitable term available for purchase at present. Chapter 453. Small amusements between lovers, 100 tons of strength was merely the beginning. The scope for growth in this term was vast, and Wang Yu eagerly anticipated what the future might hold. Perhaps one day, he could forego beef altogether. Having been out for such a long time, neither the bodyguards outside nor the shadows had noticed anything amiss. Everything transpired in silence. Wang Yu entered the bathroom, freshened up, and then returned to the bedroom. He climbed into bed, embracing the soft and fragrant Zhao Siyuan, drifting into slumber. Zhao Siyuan seemed to be dreaming, instinctively wrapping herself around Wang Yu as he drew near, her posture ungraceful, resembling an octopus as she clung tightly to him. Wang Yu chuckled helplessly, as if cradling a koala. A sudden mischievous thought crossed his mind. He playfully smacked Zhao Siyuan's bottom. The sound startled her awake, and she looked up to see Wang Yu still asleep. Then, lowering her gaze to herself, her cheeks flushed, she bit her lip, murmuring to herself, "Is he asleep or not? By the way, his abs are delightful to touch. This body, I must say, is quite impressive." The following day, the two of them rose close to noon, and after freshening up, it was nearly 1 o'clock. After lunch, Zhao Siyuan glanced at her phone repeatedly, her expression clouded with concern. Wang Yu, seemingly unperturbed, leisurely sipped tea on the sofa. Observing Wang Yu's calm demeanor, although he appeared quite handsome, Zhao Siyuan could not help but feel exasperated. Several times she attempted to voice her thoughts, but held her tongue. Ultimately, unable to contain her frustration any longer, Zhao Siyuan asked, "Junior, it is already afternoon. Shouldn't we head to my house?" "What? Are you eager to introduce me to your father-in-law?" Wang Yu quipped with a raised eyebrow and a smile. "Not all. I'm just worried something might happen at home." Zhao Siyuan pouted as she nestled into Wang Yu's embrace. Wang Yu gazed at the wildcat-like Zhao Siyuan in his arms, gently stroking her hair, and replied earnestly, "Sister, there's no rush regarding matters at your home. I have everything under control. Rest assured, having promised you, I will protect the Zhao family. Not even the heavenly king himself could touch a hair on their heads. Is that truly the case?" "Thank you, Junior." Zhao Siyuan's heart leaped with joy upon hearing this, and she immediately turned to Wang Yuqin. Despite the intimate events of the previous night, she still addressed him as Junior, while he affectionately called her Senior. This was a request from Wang Yuqin, a playful nuance in their relationship that Zhao Siyuan found delightful. A glimmer of amusement flickered in Wang Yuqin's eyes as he responded warmly, exploring her intimately, inside and out. Indeed, she was a practitioner of ancient martial arts. Had she been an ordinary girl, the exertions of last night would have left her struggling to rise from bed. Though Zhao Siyuan's brow furrowed slightly, she bore no significant discomfort. They were to visit the Zhao family, but Wang Yuqin had a few matters yet to attend to, so there was no rush. After a moment of tender intimacy, Zhao Siyuan playfully teased Wang Yuqin, igniting a surge of emotions within him. Yet, mindful of her well-being, he opted for a gentler approach. After a considerable time, Zhao Siyuan emerged from the bathroom clad in a delicate blue silk dress, her lips slightly swollen. She met Wang Yuqin's mischievous gaze, which held a hint of reproach. What had begun as playful jest to observe his flustered reaction had ultimately led to her own discomfort. The memory of their earlier embarrassing encounter made her avert her gaze. This man seemed adept at everything. He truly lived up to his reputation as a charming rogue. As she approached, Wang Yuqin enveloped her in an embrace. "You've worked hard," he murmured. "And what about you?" Zhao Siyuan replied with a soft hum, her face flushed with shyness yet brimming with pride. "How shall you address my relationship with Ren Ningxuang? I can't very well avoid her at school, can I?" The mention of Ren Ningxuang stirred something within Wang Yuqin. He had not seen her in a while and found himself missing her. Zhao Siyuan playfully pinched Wang Yuqin's arm, saying, "Right now you're holding me. Don't you dare think of her. Jealous, are we?" Wang Yuqin chuckled. "If that's the case, I shall invite Ningxuang along next time. That way, there'll be no cause for jealousy, will there?" As her partner, jealousy was permissible, but if she were to act out of line, he would not hesitate to be unyielding. However, he trusted that Zhao Siyuan was a sensible girl, and this was not something he needed to fret over. "He'll want to be with you too, pervert," she retorted. Yet, for reasons unknown, a glimmer of excitement danced in her eyes as she envisioned that very scene. Wang Yuqin stroked his chin thoughtfully and said, "In a few days, you should accompany me. You and Ningxuang are in the same school. After all, you are her senior, so it would be essential to foster some camaraderie, especially with the long days ahead." "Very well." Zhao Siyuan hesitated before acquiescing. Still, an undercurrent of guilt tugged at her. After all, Ren Ningxuang had been the first to become Wang Yuqin's girlfriend, and she felt as though she were usurping her place. The thought of facing Ren Ningxuang filled her with trepidation. Owing to her beauty, Zhao Siyuan had long held a prominent position as a campus belle, while Ren Ningxuang was undoubtedly the undisputed first. The two were familiar with one another, not strangers by any means. She remained unaware of whether Ren Ningxiang would be furious upon discovering the truth. But regardless, Zhao Siyuan had already become Wang Yu's girlfriend. There was no turning back now. Within just one evening, Zhao Siyuan realized she had become utterly dependent on Wang Yu. His appearance, family background, and character were all exceptional. Particularly, his endurance captivated Zhao Siyuan, leaving her enchanted and unable to extricate herself from his allure. Wang Yu reached into his pocket and retrieved a jade-green pill, presenting it to Zhao Siyuan. An aromatic fragrance instantly pervaded the air. "What is this?" Zhao Siyuan inquired, surprised, her eyes gleaming with delight as she accepted the pill. Looking up at Wang Yu, she said incredulously, "Is this the legendary pill?" "Indeed," Wang Yu replied, "this is the youth-retaining pill. You should take it." Zhao Siyuan's eyes sparkled with excitement as she exclaimed, "You mean this is the youth-retaining pill? Are you sure you're not deceiving me? How could I possibly deceive you? Just try it, and you will know Wang Yu laughed. You girls are always concerned about such matters. With this youth-retaining pill, you'll find you need to use cosmetics less often. I'm naturally beautiful and don't need cosmetics. Zhao Siyuan huffed, then eagerly popped the youth-retaining pill into her mouth. Moments later, her complexion radiated with vitality, transforming her entirely. Her already fair and delicate skin became even more refined, glowing with a rosy hue, as if she had been graced by a beauty filter. Not only was Zhao Siyuan thoroughly satisfied, but Wang Yu was even more pleased. Before them, Zhao Siyuan's data panel unfolded. Name: Zhao Siyuan. Age: 21. Height: 175 centimeters. Charm: 9,697. Physique: 91. Affinity: 95. Skills: Advanced Sanda, Intermediate Wing Chun. Advanced Accounting, compared to Long Lily's modest enhancement of 3 points in appearance. Zhao Siyuan's improvement from the youth-retaining pill was merely 1 point, yet still quite commendable. Where did you acquire such a precious pill? You've given me something so valuable, and I absolutely adore you for it. Zhao Siyuan exclaimed, planting playful kisses on Wang Yu's face, her expression brimming with excitement. Wang Yu's gift was indeed spot on. Girls naturally gravitate toward such things, and Zhao Siyuan was no exception. However, one question lingered in Wang Yu's mind. Are pills truly that valuable? Zhao Siyuan nodded affirmatively, explaining, of course. The refinement of pills requires the presence of innate practitioners and the assistance of spiritual energy, along with the harvesting of various spiritual herbs. While some ordinary pills may not seem particularly valuable before the disappearance of spiritual energy, now that only turbid energy remains and spiritual energy has vanished, no one can attain the innate realm anymore. The pills that were once refined are now considered the foundation of major sects and are absolutely not to be shared unless necessary. I have only ever seen descriptions of pills in literature. This is my first time tasting one. I see. Wang Yu mused, his doubts dissipating. It seemed prudent to conceal the existence of pills in light of his lack of absolute power, as it could lead to unforeseen troubles. Suddenly, the voice of a bodyguard echoed from the entrance. Subsequently, the grand door swung open, revealing a tall figure striding in, clad in a meticulously tailored suit. With hair impeccably styled and an expression of deference gracing his face, it was none other than Zheng Jigang. Having encountered some conflicts with Wang Yu in Hong Kong, he ultimately found himself under Wang Yu's command. Yet his arms were still encased in plaster, and he walked with a noticeable limp. Wang Yu was astonished by how swiftly he had recovered to such a degree, managing to stand on his own and arrive here. Truly, a legendary figure resilient to adversity. For an ordinary person, such injuries would require no less than half a year for recovery. As he stepped into the room, his gaze instinctively swept across the interior, but paused momentarily upon catching sight of Zhao Siyuan nestled against Wang Yu, her cheeks flushed with excitement, almost leaning into him in a familiar manner. A chill ran through Zheng Jigang's heart. It was evident that this woman was Wang Yu's new girlfriend. He dared not linger his gaze, quickly averting his eyes. Zheng Jigang approached Wang Yu with an observant demeanor, standing straight without any superfluous movements, not daring to take a seat uninvited. He merely inclined his body slightly and respectfully addressed, "Young Master Wang." His voice was neither too loud nor too soft, just adequate for Wang Yu to hear, yet deliberately subdued, mindful of the presence of others nearby. It was only then that Zhao Siyuan noticed the arrival of an outsider, a hint of embarrassment flashing across her face as she hurriedly withdrew from Wang Yu's embrace, though the smile lingered at the corners of her lips, her eyes still reflecting the aftertaste of the earlier elixir. "What is it?" Wang Yu inquired, glancing up at Zheng Jigang with an indifferent tone. He casually assessed Zheng Jigang's current loyalty, noting a decline. It appeared he had been away too long, and some of his methods had been forgotten. Zheng Jigang maintained his bowed posture, hands carefully folded before him, and replied in a hushed tone, "Young Master Wang, I promised that the moment my health allowed, I would return to the Magic City to seek you out. From now on, I am but your loyal hound. Whoever you command me to bite, I shall bite." Zheng Jigang's demeanor was exceedingly humble. Zhao Siyuan, standing nearby, gazed at him in astonishment, her hand covering her mouth in disbelief. Given his attire and demeanor, he appeared to be a person of wealth and influence. How could he utter such degrading words? Yet, this revelation was enough to shock Zhao Siyuan. Had she known that Zheng Jigang's family owned a global jewelry empire, her astonishment would have only magnified. Wang Yu appraised Zheng Jigang from head to toe, a scornful smile playing on his lips as he remarked, "Loyalty is commendable, but in your current state, what can you truly offer me? I have no need for useless individuals by my side. Return and recuperate fully before seeking me again. Young master, although my body has not yet fully recovered, I possess a professional team and can assist you with various matters. Even for tasks deemed impossible, I can present you with viable alternatives. Zheng Jigang maintained a composed expression, displaying none of the previous volatility he had shown in Hong Kong. The youthful fervor and fiery temperament that had once characterized him had vanished, replaced by a singular focus, to serve Wang Yu to the best of his abilities. The power behind Wang Yu is truly terrifying, and he possesses considerable means. Following him will undoubtedly lead the Zheng family to new heights. Moreover, it can ensure the Zheng family's prosperity for at least 3 generations from this point onward. In Zheng Jigang, Wang Yu perceives the transformation of a once frivolous youth into a contemplative middle-aged man. Yet, within his gaze lies an unmasked ambition, which Wang Yu greatly admires. It is not Zheng Jigang's ambition that concerns him, but the fear that after the recent events, he may completely abandon himself and become a worthless failure. Ambition is a virtue. It is now time for him to act. With this thought, Wang Yu felt a stirring within, as he had just the task to assign to him. However, he soon realized that disappointment awaited him. The smile on Wang Yu's face faded as he turned his gaze towards the injured Zheng Jigang, his eyes shimmering with a faint golden light. A pentagram materializing upon his forehead. Zheng Jigang barely had time to feel astonished before an immense pressure descended upon him from all directions, akin to a weight of 1,000 June pressing down. He could only emit a pitiful scream, as the force emanated from every inch of the surrounding space, rendering him unable to move, his mouth uttering anguished cries. Zhao Siyuan did not glance at the wretchedly screaming Zheng Jigang, but was instead perplexed by the nature of this power. Having been exposed to turbid energy since childhood through her grandfather, she could confidently assert that this force did not belong to the realm of turbid energy practitioners. It was pure, vast, and majestic, entirely different from the treacherous and eerie essence of turbid energy. In this moment, she sensed an overwhelming danger emanating from Wang Yu, causing her hair to stand on end and goosebumps to rise. Were it not for her knowledge that Wang Yu bore no ill will towards her, she would have considered fleeing. In the brief span of mere seconds, as Wang Yu unleashed this power, Zheng Jigang found himself in a hellish torment, subjected to myriad tortures that were unbearable. 2 shadows flashed before Zhao Siyuan's eyes, halting in front of Wang Yu. Young Master Wang, what is this? The shadows, Dark Shadow and Dark Hawk, gaze at the scene before them, their eyes nearly popping out. Having diligently followed Wang Yu to provide close protection, they were astonished at how he had acquired such power. They could only speculate that it was a result of the opportunities he encountered in the cave. This is not your concern. You may leave for now. Understood. After speaking, Dark Shadow and Dark Hawk cast a final glance at the pitiful Zheng Jigang before turning to depart. A trace of delight appeared at the corners of Wang Yu's mouth. He had expertly controlled the mental force he exerted on Zheng Jigang, ensuring it was precisely at the limit of what he could endure. Raising the teacup before him, he savored the tea within, remaining unfazed by the cries of despair that filled the air. Ambition is commendable, yet if one fails to recognize their master and becomes rebellious, they must endure the consequences of such torment. In a mere moment, Zheng Jigang's loyalty had evidently waned. Wang Yu felt it necessary to make a statement. If left unaddressed, it could lead to unwarranted thoughts in the future. A measured reprimand is beneficial for him to recognize the truth. Chapter 455. A true miracle. The space surrounding Zheng Jigang appeared to be frozen, as if he had plunged into a fathomless abyss, utterly immobilized. The only part of him that could move was his head, twisted and contorted in agony, resembling a malevolent specter. The excruciating pain rendered him incapable of begging for mercy. All he could emit were indistinct cries of despair. Zhao Siyuan felt a pang of sympathy as she witnessed the torment, finding it exceedingly tragic. Time seemed to lose its meaning in that moment. Eventually, Zheng Jigang sensed a slight alleviation of the pain that had plagued him. With great effort, he managed to open his weary eyes, bloodshot and filled with torment, and directed his gaze towards Wang Yu. Wang Xiao, I have done nothing wrong. What is this all about? Each movement of his lips sent fresh waves of heart-wrenching pain coursing through him. The bandaged areas of his body had begun to seep blood, which dripped steadily onto the floor. Was that not an exquisite taste? Wang Yu remarked leisurely, sipping his tea. Zheng Jigang fell silent, his eyes filled with reverence as he regarded Wang Yu, akin to a worshipper beholding a deity. The last time he had encountered Wang Yu, he had not possessed such formidable abilities. Their reunion now revealed an otherworldly power that instilled a sense of trepidation within him. Fortunately, despite harboring some reservations, he recognized that the entirety of this situation was rooted in the influence of the Wang family. Wang Yu's demonstration of supernatural prowess left Zheng Jigang feeling apprehensive, questioning whether his allegiance to the Wang family was indeed the right choice. Such methods were fearsome, yet it was a relief to realize that Wang Yu did not genuinely wish for his demise, suggesting that there remained a glimmer of hope. Wang Xiao, my loyalty to you is unwavering. Let the heavens bear witness. Please, grant me mercy. Zheng Jigang spoke each word with heartfelt sincerity, his declarations ringing true. The gradual rise in favorability within Wang Yu's discerning gaze was evident. Internally, he mused, truly, the heir of a prestigious family possesses remarkable intelligence. Rather than nurturing hatred towards me for this punishment, his immediate instinct is to pledge loyalty. This stark contrast between an ordinary individual and one cultivated by a noble lineage was evident. The latter maintained a clear judgment regarding all matters, exhibiting profound depth and adaptability. Had he been an ordinary man, the torment inflicted by Wang Yu would likely have incited immediate resentment, even if he understood the latter's power. Such emotions would have remained buried deep within. Had Zheng Jigang harbored any grievances or ill will towards Wang Yu, the latter would have shown no mercy. It would have been exceedingly simple for him to leave Zheng Jigang here to vanish without a trace, even with the Zheng family potentially suspecting something amiss. Wang Yu retracted the mental force exerted on Zheng Jigang, the pentagram on his brow and the faint golden hue in his eyes gradually fading away. Zheng Jigang collapsed onto the ground, gasping for air like a parched fish re-entering water, his eyes reflecting the relief of having survived a calamity. He struggled to rise, but his injuries remained unhealed. Now, he bore the burden of old wounds compounded by new ones, leaving a pool of blood on the floor beneath him. Wang Xiao, I sincerely apologize for staining your home. I may need to visit a hospital. My apologies, Zheng Jigang managed to say, suppressing the pain as he hunched over, forcing himself to stand. Wang Yu produced a healing pill and tossed it towards him. The elixir transformed into a parabolic arc, landing at Zheng Jigang's feet, rolling amidst the pool of blood. Consume it, Wang Yu stated indifferently. No, Zhao Xiyuan internally scoffed, her gaze fixed on the precious elixir tossed by Wang Yu, her eyes brimming with sorrow. Such a valuable remedy bestowed upon a worthless individual? How extravagant! Zheng Jigang glanced down, a barely perceptible frown creasing his brow, albeit hesitantly. He resolutely bent down to retrieve the elixir. Each bend and rise inflicted further torment upon him, yet he dared not harbor any ill thoughts towards Wang Yu. Without hesitation, he placed the elixir into his mouth. His expression momentarily froze, revealing incredulity. Almost instantly, his countenance relaxed. The elixir melted upon contact, flowing like a warm current down his throat into his abdomen, as if myriad gentle streams were instantaneously dispersing through his limbs and bones. Zheng Jigang felt the excruciating pain, which had previously pierced his body like needles, visibly dissipating. He then looked down at his heavily bandaged left arm, under the surge of warmth. It felt as though it had returned to normalcy. A flicker of astonishment crossed his eyes, and as if compelled by some unseen force, he extended his right hand, fiercely grasping the edge of the cast. With a slight exertion, it shattered with a resounding crash, falling to the ground and revealing the arm that had been wrapped in bandages. Carefully, he unwound the bandages, revealing an arm that had once been swollen, deformed, and marred by bruises, now restored to its pristine state, skin smooth and delicate as if it had never been injured. He attempted to move his arm. Whether bending or extending, there was no hindrance, even exhibiting greater agility and strength than before the injury. This is simply miraculous. A veritable marvel, Zheng Jigang exclaimed in disbelief. His gaze shifted to his previously limping foot, which had been incapacitated by a sprain, causing agonizing pain with each step. He tentatively took 2 steps, his gait steady and indistinguishable from that of an ordinary person. Other injured areas of his body, wounds that had ruptured under Wang Yu's prior torment, had also healed completely. No scars marred his skin. The blood that had oozed out had clotted and formed scabs, which now flaked away like dust. Zheng Jigang looked down at his body, once smeared with blood, then glanced at the pool of blood on the ground, and finally turned to Wang Yu, his eyes filled with reverence and gratitude. He knelt before Wang Yu, bowing deeply. Young Master Wang, Your immense kindness and grace shall be forever etched in my memory. From this day forth, my life belongs to you. Should you command me to the east, I shall not venture west. Zhao Siyuan stood to the side, astonished. While she was aware of the miraculous nature of Wang Yu's elixir, she had not anticipated such immediate results. Her admiration for Wang Yu grew, yet she felt it was a waste for Zheng Jigang to consume it. Suddenly, a thought struck her. Given that her grandfather was gravely injured, could this elixir heal his wounds? In Zhao Siyuan's eyes, a spark ignited. Yet with others present, she had to suppress her hopes for the moment. That could wait. Wang Yu observed Zheng Jigang's reaction, his expression remaining inscrutable as he calmly instructed, "Rise. Remember the words you spoke today. Should I discover any treachery in the future, your fortune may not be so favorable next time." Yes, young Master Wang, I will engrave this in my heart. Zheng Jigang hurriedly replied, rising from the ground, his posture now upright, shedding the earlier disarray and agony, if not for the remnants of blood on his body. He might have thought the previous events were merely a dream. Yet, everything was undeniably real. "I have a task for you," Wang Yu said softly. "Young master, whatever you command, I shall strive to fulfill with utmost dedication." Zheng Jigang replied with a bow. Chapter 456, Prosperity and Benevolence establish a charitable foundation in my name, one that reaches across the nation, extending to the impoverished regions of the Northwest, to the very grassroots to assist those in need. Orphans? Construct orphanages under the auspices of the foundation. My expectations extend beyond mere subsistence. I refuse to allow them to become societal burdens. Establish accompanying schools or provide scholarships for children, from elementary to secondary education, and even to university. As long as they meet the criteria, I shall cover all expenses. And what are the elderly without support? Wang Yu's voice rose slightly as he continued. We shall establish our own nursing homes, welcoming those willing to join us. We shall care for them without charge. For those unwilling to enter such facilities, we will ensure that those genuinely unable to support themselves receive a monthly stipend of 1,000 huaxia coins, alongside regular visits from our staff. Wang Yu, born in Rong Province, was acutely aware of the hardships faced by those in remote areas. The economic situation could be described as dire. Most could only cultivate crops for sustenance or embark on long journeys to seek work. Many children lacked access to proper education, forced to abandon their studies due to poverty, wandering aimlessly in society, unaware of life's significance. The poverty in these regions cannot solely be attributed to laziness. It is difficult for many to fathom that in such areas, numerous individuals over 30 are illiterate, unable to recognize numbers, let alone words. The outdated mindset, the lack of educational resources, and the neglect of regional development have rendered life exceedingly harsh for these individuals. Potatoes, a commonplace vegetable in most households, may serve as their staple food. Wang Yu was not born into privilege. He had witnessed the struggles of the underprivileged and could naturally empathize with their plight. The main quest issued by the system, with a focus on global welfare, required him to assist more individuals to earn additional points upon completion. Wang Yu envisioned establishing a foundation, entrusting Zheng Jigang with its management. Previously, his attempts to engage Uncle Li in charitable efforts had been minor, failing to make a significant impact. He was not in want of money. Rather, he sought points. Wang Yu needed Zheng Jigang to establish offices nationwide to aid all those in need. Some might argue that the workload was overwhelming. The expenditure is excessively high. It is an insurmountable task. Zheng Jigang shared this sentiment. Although he admired Wang Yu's grand aspirations, he comprehended the inherent difficulties. Young Master Wang, the funds you mentioned may amount to an astronomical figure. Zheng Jigang expressed with hesitation. Money is not an issue. You need only ensure that every penny is allocated to legitimate endeavors. Wang Yu declared with a sweeping gesture. It must not be diverted for other purposes. I require your assistance in supervising every transaction. Can you manage that? Certainly. Zheng Jigang nodded affirmatively. Moreover, you must immerse yourself among the populace, observing closely to identify those in dire need due to severe illness or natural disasters. Wang Yu articulated passionately, gesturing emphatically. Zhao Siyuan listened intently, her gaze gradually reflecting admiration, sparkling like stars. It was truly surprising that a person at the pinnacle of success like Wang Yu would take the initiative to engage in philanthropy, genuinely striving to assist all those in need across the nation, to be self-sufficient when impoverished, and to assist the world when affluent. Countless citizens had encountered this wisdom from Confucius during their education. Yet, how many who ascended to the summit still remembered it? Very few indeed. At the height of success, one should aspire for the welfare of all, aiding those in need within one's capacity and embracing social responsibility. Wang Yu, who had no obligation to undertake such endeavors, had already amassed hundreds of millions of followers online, earning the titles of national husband and universal idol. He could easily refrain from spending his wealth, as he had already established his reputation. Zhao Siyuan perceived none of the traits typical of a spoiled heir in Wang Yu. There was no sign of extravagance or arrogance. Her impression of this junior had transformed significantly. Initially somewhat annoyed by the numerous women surrounding Wang Yu, she no longer felt conflicted. What of it if such an outstanding man had many women by his side? To be his girlfriend was a blessing. Zhao Siyuan now felt that her encounter with him was a reward for her past life's virtues. As this thought crossed her mind, Wang Yu suddenly heard a system notification chime. Ding! Congratulations, host. Zhao Siyuan's affection for you has reached 100 points. Wang Yu merely smiled and continued discussing matters with Zheng Jigang, who nodded repeatedly, increasingly in awe of him. Lost in thought, Zheng Jigang suddenly spoke, "Young Master Wang, with your benevolence and ambition for this endeavor, my family may not possess much, but we can contribute 500 billion to the charitable foundation. We hope to assist more people. Your intentions are commendable," Wang Yu acknowledged with a nod. After deliberating the general content, Zheng Jigang inquired further. What shall we name the charitable foundation? Let it be called Wuyo Charity, as it aligns with my account name. Most will recognize the connection to me. It shall facilitate the foundation's operations, Wang Yu pondered before responding. Subsequently, the two engaged in further discussions regarding certain details. Zheng Jigang expressed concerns about potential obstacles, remarking on the intricate nature of the situation, fraught with numerous vested interests. A certain crossroad serves as a prime example, where instances of self-enrichment abound. Wuyo Charity may indeed face suppression from these individuals. Wang Yu, however, encouraged him to act boldly, unafraid of the consequences, asserting that challenges were but trifles to be deftly navigated. Even if dissatisfaction lingered, it would manifest as mere covert maneuvers, incapable of stirring significant turmoil. Wang Yu harbored no apprehension about being oppressed while working in Huagua. On the contrary, he perceived Zheng Jigang's concerns as a source of amusement, providing him with a diversion in his leisurely life. Having articulated his thoughts, Wang Yu bid Zheng Jigang to leave promptly and expedite the establishment of the charity foundation to assist those in need, so that he could facilitate the transfer of funds. As soon as Zheng Jigang exited, Zhao Siyuan fervently expressed her affection for Wang Yu, exhibiting remarkable initiative. This piqued Wang Yu's curiosity about the thoughts occupying her youthful mind. Was she truly a spirited young lady? He silently urged her to maintain this demeanor, for he found it utterly delightful. Zhao Siyuan, having honed her skills in ancient martial arts since childhood, effortlessly executed numerous challenging movements, exuding an extraordinary allure. She reveled in the surge of hormones that accompanied their encounter. Despite Zhao Siyuan's gentle demeanor, Wang Yu was relentless, and after half an hour, she found herself pleading for mercy. Yet, the war they had ignited was far from easily concluded. They traversed various locales, the living room, garden, kitchen, and pool, until the sun began to set. Chapter 457. Truly, I adore you. It was unclear how much time had elapsed when Zhao Siyuan, glistening with sweat, lay languidly against Wang Yu's robust frame, her breath coming in quick bursts before gradually stabilizing. "Junior, do you still have the elixirs you gave to Zheng Jigang?" she inquired. "Yes, why do you ask?" Wang Yu responded, puzzled. Zhao Siyuan lifted her flushed face, biting her lip hesitantly as she gazed at him. "My grandfather has sustained serious injuries. Could you possibly—" Wang Yu had indeed forgotten this detail and nodded, assuring her, "It's a trivial matter. As long as there is hope, I shall not hesitate to offer my elixirs. You are truly wonderful. Thank you," Zhao Siyuan exclaimed, her voice brimming with excitement. "I absolutely adore you. And I love you too," Wang Yu replied with a slight smile. Zhao Siyuan's affection for him had reached its zenith. Her heart was wholly his, and Wang Yu found it difficult to refuse her, as it was merely a matter of some points. The elixirs presented by the system were quite affordable. As long as Zhao Laozu was still alive, Wang Yu felt confident in his ability to rescue him from the clutches of death. Checking his phone, he noted that it was already 5 in the afternoon. He had no intention of dining, and, after tidying their clothes with Zhao Siyuan, prepared to head directly to Suzhou, rumored to be a culinary desert. Wang Yu, undeterred by superstition, was eager to test this claim. He summoned Shadow and Dark Hawk, apprising them of the situation at hand, and conveyed their immediate journey to Suzhou. Shadow's concern, "Young Master Wang, with both Shadow and I accompanying you. It would be akin to courting death. The prowess of a master at the third level of the Turbid Chi realm poses a significant threat, and we are entirely outmatched. Perhaps we should request the chief to arrange for some adept from the Heavenly Palace to accompany us. That would ensure greater safety. Dark Eagle, noticing Wang Yu's indifference, frowned and implored, "Young Master Wang, please heed our advice. Your life is invaluable. Why risk it? Those nefarious individuals may not show you any courtesy. Should you reveal yourself there, they might abandon their pursuit of the Zhao family and instead abduct you, knowing the chief would undoubtedly offer them substantial resources for your return. You need not worry. I have contacted Master Zhang, and he is already en route." Wang Yu casually reassured them. This was merely a ruse to allay their fears. With a mental force exceeding 100 tons, Wang Yu felt more than capable of handling a being of the Turbid Chi realm. It was also an opportunity for him to test his abilities. Shadow and Dark Eagle were about to voice further concerns when Wang Yu waved his hand dismissively. "Do not fret too much. Calculating the time, Master Zhang is already on a plane. Moreover, he hails from Longhu Mountain, a sect renowned for its myriad techniques, far beyond the reach of those wicked paths. Besides, I possess the protective golden censer. You need not worry." Reluctantly, Shadow and Dark Eagle acquiesced. Although the endeavor still bore risks, they were indeed persuaded by Wang Yu. There exists a distinction even among those of the same realm. Not all talents are equal, and Longhu Mountain, as the ancestral ground of Taoism, is not to be underestimated. Shadow piloted the Rolls-Royce Cullinan along the expressway towards Suzhou. Given the proximity of the two cities, Wang Yu opted for driving, as flying would likely consume even more time. Zhao Siyuan, fatigued from the day's exertions, relinquished her strength, allowing Wang Yu's mischievous hands to roam as she nestled comfortably in his embrace, drifting into a deep slumber. The engine of the Rolls-Royce Cullinan emitted a low, steady growl, reminiscent of a colossal beast poised for action, slicing through the illuminated expressway like a streak of darkness. The scenery outside blurred past, the distant city's neon lights resembling stars sinking into the depths of the ocean, shrouded in a veil of night. Peering through the bulletproof glass, Wang Yu extended his mental force imperceptibly, weaving an intricate web that enveloped the surroundings. Like a radar, events occurring within a kilometer radius materialized vividly in his mind, akin to the divine consciousness of those cultivators depicted in novels. Within the range of his mental force, even the faintest flutter of a mosquito's wings was discernible. Wang Yu could not help but marvel at the versatility of his ability. Apart from his physical vulnerability, he could scarcely envision any entity posing a threat to him. As the vehicle gradually approached the ancient city of Suzhou, the protective forests lining the expressway began to yield to scattered residential houses. Wang Yu's mental force surged like a tide, sweeping over the expanse of housing. Suddenly, his expression froze. He touched his nose and silently retracted his mental force. One must not gaze upon what is improper. He truly had not intended for that to occur. Who would have anticipated that a bare figure would intrude upon the range of his mental force? Thankfully, his reflexes were swift. He had seen nothing. He vowed it was true. The vehicle did not venture into the city. After exiting the highway, it veered towards the suburbs. After half an hour of travel, the road beneath them grew distinctly winding. Towering trees flanked both sides, their lush branches nearly intertwining overhead to form an impenetrable canopy, with only scattered moonlight filtering through the foliage, casting dappled shadows upon the car's body. The wheels rolled over small pebbles on the road, producing a gentle rumbling sound. Wang Yu instinctively tightened his arms, cradling Zhao Siyuan more securely. The subtle vibrations seemed to disturb her, causing her eyelashes to flutter slightly, yet she remained asleep, nuzzling deeper into his warm embrace, a faint smile of contentment gracing her lips. Wang Yu lifted his gaze, once again channeling his thoughts forward, whispering, "We have arrived." As the vehicle continued deeper into the woods, the trees grew ever taller and more majestic. Along the way, figures clad in tight-fitting attire frequently observed their approach. Suddenly, a warm glow pierced through the dense shadows ahead. Initially, it appeared as mere flickers akin to fireflies in the night. As the vehicle drew nearer, the radiance intensified, becoming brighter and more concentrated, luminous as day. "Young Master Wang, we are almost there." The voice of Shadow carried a note of caution, while the figure in the passenger seat, Dark Owl, leaned out to scrutinize the surroundings. Wang Yu nodded slightly, his attention captured by the grandeur of the estate before him. A group had long awaited their arrival at the entrance, and upon seeing the car, they fell silent, the leading figures stepping forward with smiles on their faces. As the car came to a halt, Shadow and Dark Owl were the first to disembark, immediately unleashing their formidable presence as practitioners of the turbid Chi realm, exerting an undeniable pressure upon the assembled crowd. The expressions of the leading figures shifted, their eyes narrowing in seriousness. However, their smiles soon returned, growing more enthusiastic as they approached. Wang Yu gently patted Zhao Siyuan's shoulder to rouse her. She emitted a soft sound of protest, rubbing her eyes as she regained her senses. "Are we home?" she inquired. "Yes," Wang Yu replied with a smile. "Let us get out." Upon seeing the faces outside the car, Zhao Siyuan's visage brightened with joy, and she stepped out alongside Wang Yu. The moment she exited, she dashed towards the elegant figure of a noblewoman before her. "Mom, I'm so relieved you're safe. I was so worried about you."